Greetings, thanks to all my beloved airborne simians. What up to visiting sports fans? I am Giovanni Johnny Cerrucci. This is Resistance Rising. And we are flipping tables today. All right, threat level Matt, Tommy. Invite sent, William. Love you guys. Let's jump right into it, shall we? Let's start with this. I have to prep it. So you guys remember, we have talked about this. Whose dossier did I put this under? Yeah, here we go. Life is Good for James O'Keefe and Robert Francis Kennedy Jr. What are you wearing? What's your shirt? What shirt are you wearing? What shirt are you wearing? You kidding me? You win.
I got the memo.
You win. You beat Gunny Highway. You match Gunny Highway's shirt. You matched Gunny Highway's shirt. You snuck in and talked to his housekeeper and found out what shirt Gunny Highway's wearing. All right, love you, pal. So
it's been an interesting morning. I thought we were going to start early.
We were. Just shut up. Shut up.
Okay,
I fully intended to start at least an hour to an hour and a half earlier than I fucking did. And as usual,
yeah.
No. I told you that, yes, I wasn't lying. That was my intent.
No, I didn't. I wasn't. I'm not calling you a liar.
That was my intent. So, what the fuck
I would never call you a liar.
I got everything I had of my day. I just pushed it back.
Right. We all have reason to all have, things come up, things change.
All right. So let's start with this. I sent this to my newest, bestest friend, and I'm not even being an asshole about it. I love this kid, Justin Leslie.
Yeah, so do I. I think he should be part of the team.
That's on him. That's on him.
But yeah, I agree. I know he's he's making rounds.
He has got to be hugely busy.
Absolutely. And we should support that. He's getting into places we couldn't.
That's a fact.
I'm sure he's going to be, I won't be surprised if it hasn't happened yet, he'd be on the Bill Hicks show.
I support that too. Yeah. I support that too.
100%.
Listen, the equation, we called the equation. Let me tell you something. What happened with Stu Peters, absolutely laser precision. He got about 40 minutes on Stu Peters because Stu Peters is desperate for validation. Stu Peters is desperate for bona fides, as our Latin friends would say.
Right.
So
he's so highly commercialized. You see all the ads and everything.
It's also sensationalism too. It's all, as Justin called it, it's a bunch of fear porn. He is very, very controlled. excuse me, but in order to continue to put out legitimate material, he brought Justin on. And I'm telling you, with laser precision, he bloviated for 10 minutes and gave Justin about half an hour.
Yeah.
Because
not even that, because he
25 minutes. Yeah.
It was kind of like a newscast, you know.
Right.
Okay, this is what we're going to talk about this hour. Blah 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 blah
Right,
blah
right.
blah blah. And with us now is Justin.
I'll tell you, the fucking CIA machine continues to leak Tucker Carlson paywall vids up onto ScrewTube. And they are unwatchable because in the middle of the vid, they will cover the vid with some kind of childish Trump propaganda. They will actually, and what the fuck am I watching? It's bad enough that Cucker is a cuck, but to partially cover up the vid, and really at key moments, like when they have border crossing video from some roving reporter, they'll put on a picture of Trump waving. I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? Are you kidding me? Let me tell you something.
Really pumping up the phallus.
YouTube has stopped me midstream for playing a clip from a fucking Disney Marvel movie. Midstream, they cut off my stream, okay? So there's no way that they're missing these Tucker Carlson vids. They're being leaked on purpose because Tucker Carlson is a cuck. So they need legitimacy. And God love him, Justin is going to ride that wave into legitimacy. He's already, just like you said, Bill and Danny, I see you there, pal. Just like you said, he's already getting into places where we could never get into. He's bestest friends with New Age Alex Zek. He's making connections. So that's up to him. I've given him a lot of material. He popped in, sent me a sentence or two, and popped back out again because he's crazy busy. That's fine. It's up to him. Same thing with Roy.
Right.
I have been pummeling Roy. Roy sent, finally, after like 25 emails, he finally responded with something cryptic and then disappeared again. I told him, and I don't mind making this public, he deserves it. I said, listen to me. You can play Jonah all you fucking want. You can run away from your destiny all you fucking want. Let me know how that works out. Let me also tell you, I don't give a fuck what you're going through. Would you change your pronouns? You're trying on women's clothing now? I don't fucking care. Do you think you can't talk to me? Do you think that that's whatever it is that you're going through, I won't listen to? Do you think I'm so fucking shallow and immature that I'm going to shoot you down because you change your pronouns? Whatever it is. And I'm just saying partially tongue-in-cheek, I don't fucking know why he ran away. I don't fucking know.
And it's the same thing with a lot of these guys like N. Goods and...
Oh, Nicholas especially. Yes, even worse.
All those guys, I don't understand. They're pushing...
spiritual warfare. It's spiritual warfare. For whatever reason, they ran away. And the same thing is Justin connected. For whatever reason, Justin connected. And anyway...
But we could make him honorary. You know, he's the type come and go whenever he needs to.
You know what? I will put him into the distro. Let me tell you something, though, this. I will tell you this. I have very thin skin when it comes to being unresponsive.
Right.
So I'll put people in to the distro.
Yeah, but make it known to him. It's strictly volunteer.
Well, no. What my distro participation is, just that. Communication and participation. You don't owe me anything but talking to me.
Right.
You owe
In
me
other words,
communication.
if you can't make it, you just say, sorry, can't make it. Oh, no
absolutely.
problem.
You drop off the flat earth, I will drop you off the distro. Just that simple. Yeah. You drop off the flat earth, I will drop you off the distro. It's just that simple.
Are you listening, Danny?
No, he's good. No, he's good. He's been in constant contact. He's been in constant contact.
Him a hard time.
Yeah, so
I'm breaking ball. It's cool. Nah.
Yeah. Let's get into some topics, and I'll line Danny up for what he wants to talk about. Let me get some topics first. So, speaking of Justin, I gave all this to Justin. I was hoping to get some inside information on James O'Keefe's marital status. I could have sworn that I saw some kind of top secret fake marriage, aside from what I'm going to share with you. Not the gay marriage, homo marriage stunt. But I could have sworn there was some kind of top secret, and I looked in the dossier and I don't see it.
Well, he did mention it on his last meeting with Project Veritas that it was kind of like a role playing thing. It wasn't real.
When the Hawkeye fucking comes on, the Hawkeye needs to be sitting up in his perch looking down. All right.
He's got his sharp eye out.
Where's the hawk? O'Keefe mentioned his marital status, you saying?
Well, he mentioned that there was some kind of thing, and he was talking to some gal off camera saying, that was a certain incident, like a stunt that they pulled. It wasn't real.
Right.
So, yeah. That's the closest I know of.
Some kind of secret fake wedding.
Yeah.
I swear I had that, and I'm looking in my O'Keefe dossier and I don't see it. So send me what you have.
Well, that's been a long time ago since I've seen it, but I'll look for it.
Well, yeah, search, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was disappeared off the internet.
Oh, I wouldn't. Hey, there's so much stuff disappearing. I'm working on chapter 8 of Illuminati Unmasked. And it's interesting? A lot of stuff on Alexander Haig has been disappeared even off a Wayback Machine.
Really?
Even off the Catholic, the Catholic sources that you, what was it? The Catholic Standard and biography.com. Totally written him off.
Well, here's the problem is that, it's only within the scamdemic era that I have been paranoid archiving anything and everything. And by the way, that has a price tag. The price tag is my fucking time. The price tag to archiving everything and anything is my fucking time. I don't have the time to do all that. I do have 5 or 6 files I may or may not be able to help you with. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, I did find Scribed. You did a article on Scribed.
Still up?
I can't remember what that was.
Good old Roman Catholic Notre Dame, Alexander Haig, and his brother Francis, the physics professor at Loyola, Maryland. James Japan has him listed as a Knight of Malta, which is better than Eric Phelps. Let's see here. David Icke had him listed as a Knight of Malta. He's a Grover for sure. I've got photographs of him at the Grove. Interesting. How about that? Grove is back in the news, and you're digging up Alexander Haig from Illuminati Unmasked.
Right.
And that's
I just
prominent.
found the video. I'm going to put the video in the chat here. The farewell video of James O'Keefe.
Oh, I've got that. So he talks about his marriage in his farewell video?
Yeah, it was just a few seconds. He talks about it for very, very few seconds.
Okay, good.
So,
good.
I put that in the chat anyway, if anybody wants to check it out.
Well, I'm pretty sure I've got that. So stand by.
Yeah, it's like a 45-minute speech. Yeah.
So that's why. Okay. O'Keefe's emotional resignation speech.
Oh, mine says James O'Keefe removed as CEO of Project Veritas. Full speech from James at Veritas headquarters. So it's probably the same thing.
Right.
Probably the same thing.
Right. The reason why it's titled that way is because of homosexual Jim Hoft at the Gateway Pundit covering it. I'll go ahead and add this.
The Hoff.
Stand by, guys. I can't get... Okay.
There were tactical...
All right. That's the fucking, what the hell is that? That's not the, that's a tiny portion of it.
Well, I think the one I sent you was about 45 minutes, 44 minutes.
The link I just clicked on, I'll share it to you.
Oh, you know what? I probably sent you I'm sorry.
Yeah, you sent me somebody else's sectioned mirror of it.
Okay, hold on a second. Oh, yeah. Is that the one with the...
You see this? Outlaw 69, 2 minutes and 15 seconds. So no, that's not the right one.
No, that's not the right. Hang on a second.
No, I don't want the fag ass. Here it is. Tim Pool. That's got to be it right there.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, Tim Pool has it up.
All right. So, yes, you're right, Bill. You're right. That's where I remember him talking about the fake wedding. You're absolutely right. Now I need to get the yes at 30 minutes and 13 seconds.
Right. It was somewhere in there.
I have this in my notes at 30 minutes 13. You know what? Let's take a look. Let's see if it's still there.
Yeah, if they cut it out.
What the fuck is
blurred? Thank you all for being here on a
some
President's Day.
fucktard's face.
Yeah.
At 30:13. So stand by. All right, you guys ready? This should be it.
I got a chuckle out of this. I'm not married. I've never been married. I do hope to get married one day. In fact, I got married to you in Oklahoma. But that was pretend.
Yeah, there it is. That was pretend. Yeah.
Now, who is he pointing to off camera? Because Justin said there was, oh, wait a minute. Not only doesn't matter. I've got it right here.
He's looking pretty shiny too.
He's looking shiny and fat.
Shiny and well, but the idea of perspiration in a time.
Oh, good for you. Right. Right. So then there's this. I got married to you in Oklahoma. Who is he talking to? Could be talking to the other male that he married for this gay marriage stunt. I hope to get married someday to the man of my dreams, like I did for this stunt. And look at the way this is written up.
Yeah.
Stunt journalist O'Keefe alleged Mary Landrieu wiretapping misunderstanding Acorn pimp fame. Mary Landrieu of the Roman Catholic Landrieu dynasty. Brother is a politician. Daddy is a politician. Mary a senatorette, I believe, from Louisiana. Joined forces with another straight guy. Well, how do we know they're both straight? Because they say so. In 2008, in an attempt to enter into Massachusetts homosexual, no such thing as same sex, homosexual marriage, and secretly wiretape shotgun wedding was cooked up in order to score one of O'Keefe's more bizarre wingnut points. Again, we have the best of objective journalism here. To prove that government bureaucrats in charge of administering marriage licenses shouldn't care about love. Really? Really? Now, why is that a James O'Keefe top agenda? To the point where you will fake marrying another male. Justin, who I adore, all he could do is say, I read that article and it made me laugh. Okay, how about give me some fucking information, dude? What do you know about this? What do you know about O'Keefe's marital status? Now, Justin, go.
I suspected that Justin knows a whole lot more than what he's given out. I think he knows a whole lot more, and he's just, you know, I'm not that he's holding anything back. I'm just saying he's got a lot of stuff that, I mean, he's been with Project Veritas and OMG.
Yeah, and he's
for
been
how
with us
many
for
years?
2 weeks, which is nothing. So
Right,
yeah,
exactly. So yeah,
yeah, all right. I agree. He may be, you know, holding his cards close to his chest.
yeah. Nothing wrong with that, because eventually he's going to play those hands.
That's right. That's right. I would think
when the opportunity, yeah.
As my family would say very often when I was growing up, shit or get off the pot. That's a very careful, nuanced, family-oriented Italian saying. Shit or get off the pot.
Yeah, it's ours and we're German.
Just wanted to point this out. I'm trying to find the resignation date for O'Keefe, and just on his Vadi page. I know we pointed this out before.
That's not a resignation, but not my understanding, Hawk. The board forced him, but it's being spun as a resignation. The board forced him out.
It's about when, and
I got you.
as a potential drumbeat, but just noting he attained Eagle Scout, the highest rank in the Boy Scouts of America. So I don't know the age at that point, but we think of the pattern of Boy Scouts, Eagle Scouts. When we think of Eagle Scout, we think of oh shit, University of Indiana. What's his name? The sex doctor, long dead, who died from an infection from trying to circumcise himself in your Eat of the Children. And
Kinsey.
Thank you very much, Kinsey. Charles Whitman, the sniper tower. No, the University of Texas sniper sniper tower sniper.
Catholic.
There's a lot of prominent names that were Eagle Scout, and then of course the pederasty of the Boy Scouts, the background. Anyway, just
wait. No, there's no pederasty in the Boy Scouts. It just made them go Chapter 11 bankrupt.
Oh, one dude touched one boy.
Right, in the ass in a pool.
Yeah, while trying to light a Pharaoh.
Right. He was pointing out to where the bathroom is and accidentally touched the boy on the ass when he was doing it. Okay. All right. Well, go ahead and dig and let me know what your drum beats you find, and we'll keep going on. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. Thank you, Bill. Fantastic, Bill. You helped me connect the dots on that.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. That's one. Let me pause there. Okay. And I set Danny up. So Danny is mission impossible right now. He's trying to exercise his Second Amendment rights in the People's Commonwealth of New York, which I would think is just that, a mission impossible.
Practically.
One thing you will never hear from the Roman Catholic cucks and frauds like Wayne LaPierre and Oliver North at the National Rifle Association is the true intent of the Second Amendment. The true intent of the Second Amendment is a bulwark against tyranny, which means anything the government would come at you to crush you in a move of tyranny, you should have. All the way up to a new environmentally safe M1BX, whatever the fuck the new Creighton Abrams tank is. You should have that. Because that's what the government would use to crush you in a tyranny. So give me any bullshit about deadly AR-15s.
It's funny too.
Hang on, Hawkeye, and then Danny, finish your thought. Go ahead, Hawkeye.
I'm just joke that the Biden joke. Buy a shotgun.
Right, buy a shotgun. What? As Danny, go ahead, Danny. I'll pull that up.
It's funny because my uncle's a Vietnam vet, and my uncle would say, "Oh, what do you need the Second Amendment for? Like, you're really going to go against the government with their planes and their tanks and all that?" And I'm like, "You got your ass handed to you by rice paddy farmers."
Fuck yes, I'm gonna fucking put myself in a hole in the ground, surrounded by guns, and I'm just gonna go ahead.
It worked for ISIS. I mean,
Yeah,
ISIS
right.
did a pretty good job without any air power. I think they had one plane that they were just flying around randomly.
So
they did pretty
because
well.
they have overwhelming force by design, you should just bend over and take it in the ass, is what your relative is saying.
Pretty much. Yeah. That's the belief. And that's how
that's
it is
not
in
our
the US.
solution. Our solution is network. Our solution is one goes down, 100 rise up. That's the solution. Just like at fucking Ruby Ridge, which stopped those fucks from massacring the entire family, was the town rising up and watching these motherfuckers.
Yeah. Well, even what was it with David Koresh with the Adventists? They were all gun dealers. They were all like licensed gun dealers at the compound. I forgot his name. Bill Hughes, was it Bill Hughes' book? I think that was the one that I read where he goes into detail about what happened at the compound, and they were basically trying to come after them under the guise of, oh, well, you're all they basically were all licensed gun dealers, and they were trying to use that as an excuse to come after them. So
how the fuck are you a Jewish city worker out of New York and you are this well read? You must be some kind of like an ex-Freemason or some shit. How the hell do you have such good information? All right, let me play this real quick, and I'm going to go on further on in your journey that you shared with us about you trying to exercise your Second Amendment rights. Hold on a second. So you guys should have the audio. I've already done this. Share audio.
She's asking if a ban goes into effect on certain kinds of weapons and high-capacity magazines.
And what's her name?
This one girl that shoots and falls on her ass is the cutest thing.
Kate.
Kate, if you want to protect yourself, get a double-barrel shotgun. Have the shells, a 12-gauge shotgun.
So we've covered this before. In no way, shape, or form would I leave my wife's safety to a 12-gauge shotgun, the overkill of a 12-gauge shotgun. I have told you, I'm going to go big picture real quick. I have a story in my folders, in my file, in the thousands of files I have, of a woman that stopped a rape with a 22. She had 22 or 25. I'm going to say it's a 22, like a target pistol. And it just had an extended magazine, and she fired enough rounds into this guy to change his mind. He wasn't in danger of being killed. No, let me tell you something. I don't want to be shot by a pellet, because if a pellet hits you in the wrong spot, it's permanent damage and or death. The most deadly cartridge caliber in the world is a .380. Why? Because it's what everybody carries. It's what gets shot the most. Not a 44, not a 45, not a 9mm. It's a .380, which is a 9mm Kurz, as they say in a German, 9mm short. The most deadly cartridge. What causes the most damage is what gets shot a lot. Okay, I would never leave my wife under the safety of a massive overkill that she could barely handle and certainly not shoot accurately.
Yeah.
We go back to this. Go ahead.
When I was a kid, I got to fire a shotgun for the first time, and I was, I think, maybe like 12 years old, and like 2 other people had to hold it for me because, it's, if you're not used to it, you're going to go flying back.
Let me play this. It's worth playing. Go ahead, Bill, real quick.
I had a time where it practically took my shoulder off. I fell backwards a little bit, but it practically took my shoulder off.
Let me play this vid. It's short and it really proves the point.
And I promise you, as I told my wife, we live in an area that's wooded and somewhat
with a mansion back where no one else is allowed, behind a moat and past a gate and past a guard. And Paul Pelosi lends us his armored cars every once in a while.
And don't forget the alligators.
And the alligators. And they all vote Democrat.
And Sandy Hook school is just over the hill.
Right.
said, Jill, if there's ever a problem, just walk out on the balcony here or walk out, put that double-barrel shotgun and fire 2 blasts.
Right. Because firing, what's the word? Any kind of firearm being shot in any city limit and anywhere is not a slightest invitation to be harassed by cops. and possibly get that firearm confiscated and possibly get you in big trouble. All right, now, first of all, what this fucktard
here, walk out, put that double barrel shotgun and fired 2 blasts.
This fucktard, this male behind this female, that's a shotgun. What the fuck do you have a telescopic sight on a fucking shotgun for, you fucktard moron? Even if you're shooting slugs. Okay?
Plays a lot of video games.
Right. So he gives it to his wife and gives her no coaching whatsoever. So the fucking optic smashes her in the face. It should have been him in the dick.
Like that. You'll be completely fine. Oh my God.
Ow, Alan!
What's wrong, Autumn?
Asshole, redneck fuck.
Jesus.
She's awesome. What the fuck? Another Hollywood fucktard. Another moron's been playing too many video games. A fucking 12 gauge without a shoulder stock? Really?
Oh, it hurts. I don't like it.
I promise you, who's ever coming in is not going to... You don't need an AR-15. It's harder to aim. It's harder to use.
She's adorable, too.
I'd rather use an AR than a shotgun any day.
Right.
And in fact, you don't need 30 rounds to protect yourself.
You piece of
Buy a
shit.
shotgun. Buy a shotgun.
You absolutely do need 30 rounds to protect yourself against a fucking slew of fucking yahoos retaking Fallujah. All right, so who is sending? Alex. All right, thank you, Alex. Stand by. All right, Danny, finish your thoughts on trying to exercise your rights. The way you exercise your rights in New York is in a fucking car crossing the state line. That's how you exercise your rights in New York. The mere fact. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just gonna say it's really incredible because I have my multi-state CCL. I did that class last weekend, and I can actually use that CCL that I got, the multi-state CCL. I can go to Pennsylvania with it. Excuse me, because I have residency there. Go and to a sheriff's office, and it takes about 20 minutes. And they basically have a list of all the counties where it takes even less than 20 minutes to get your CCL in Pennsylvania. While in New York, I have a CCL, but I don't have the pistol permit. So I still have to get a pistol permit. And that's where they make the process. Because New York was actually a may issue state for a while, but we just had a Supreme Court ruling that overturned everything. And it's shall issue. But I got to submit my social media. I got to get character letters. And the crazy thing is like, there was a judge recently that ruled that illegals are entitled to Second Amendment privileges. So I'm like, why do I now have to hand in my character letters if an illegal immigrant can get it? It just makes absolutely no sense. And it's all, and then they draw out the process. But yeah, basically New York has a way you just cannot defend yourself. They don't want you to.
You know, that's the same way here in Oregon. It only took me 15, 20 minutes to get my concealed carry license, but to get, to go purchase a firearm, even though I carry that thing, it's supposed to put me at the head of the list. But they've been so backed up, they blame it on COVID. Ever since COVID, you're put on a list, and sometimes it takes months before they, can, okay you.
What Danny wrote me is key. What Danny wrote me is, shall not be infringed is in the fucking Bill of fucking Rights. That supersedes everything. It supersedes everything. And there's not a single fucking court battle going on to strike down the fucking unconstitutional, out of control fucking legislation.
No, they want to push. They wanted to push the phalluses red flag law.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
We got that.
Kamala Harris, was just talking about that. She was just talking about like the red flag laws. And it's a sheriff too. The crazy thing is like here in New York, people don't realize that the sheriff is actually very important. Because I know in like Missouri and in a few other states, there were sheriffs that came forward and were like, we're not gonna, exercise whatever the ATF or the federal government tells us to do against our citizens, vis-a-vis their Second Amendment rights. We're not gonna we're not even gonna answer their calls, and we're not giving them the rights to do it. And here in New York, we need a sheriff like who actually would care enough to be like, this is wrong. We shouldn't be doing these kind of things. We should have our Second Amendment right, especially with the state of the city now. They had, I think last year, 600 people apply for pistol permits. This year it was like 6,000.
This is from Jesus Saved Darnell, my brother from another mother. The Injustice Department is now launching a new mini bureaucracy to enact red flag laws. Pardon me, to enact red flag confiscation. There are no laws. It's completely, entirely unconstitutional. They're doing it anyway. Extreme risk. Why? Because some fucking communist apparatchik little tin cock or cunt has decided you no longer rate a firearm. Why? Because I say so? Because someone made a complaint? This red flag bullshit is just that. It's another reason. It's another reason why the people are fully justified in complete and total takedown of the system. Full on civil war, chaos.
They make these laws and then they force them into the courts. They force people to have to get a lawsuit together to fight it, but it shouldn't even be because it's an infringement. Right. It's a clear infringement. It shouldn't even be. It shouldn't have to be that there has to be court cases. And then the state of New York and the city of New York, when they lost the Bruin case, they still kept it petty. And what's crazy is that even though they're fighting the social media thing because it's a First Amendment violation, clearly, they still get a stay. They're still allowed to enforce it while it's being fought in court, even though it's a clear First and Second Amendment violation.
John
Asking
Paul,
you to hand over your social media for what? For scrutiny.
John Paul, Darnell, glad you guys are in the chat. Show up whenever you can. Love you guys. All right, stand by, Alex. I know you're trying desperately to pull a George. Let me hit one more on this as a refresher. Another refresher vid. Excuse me. All right, did we cover that entirely for O'Queef? Do I need to leave that open? Oh, do I have two O'Queefs open?
I've got a couple of key points if when.
All right, let me play the drum, take the guns first, and then we'll go ahead to the Hawkeye, and then we'll go to we'll allow.
Yes, go ahead.
We will have Alex pull a George.
Mike.
Well, in the category, you've spoken about it, Mr. President, gun violence restraining orders.
You spoke about gun violence, and this, what the fuck is this sitting next to him?
They're called California.
This is the far left Jewish Yenta that was responsible for the assault weapons ban several decades ago.
Yeah, actually has a version
Mrs.
of
America.
this, and
right. Who was educated in a fucking convent? Once again, the Jewish who was educated in a fucking Roman Catholic convent. Tell me how it's the Jews.
I think in your meeting with governors earlier this week, individually and as a group, we spoke about states taking steps, but the focus is to literally give families. And give.
Listen to this fucking Jesuit. Remember, this pedophile Pence, born and raised hyper-devout Catholic, and then repackaged as evangelical.
Local law enforcement additional tools.
Like a I've got some. I'll give you an example of additional tool. Hold on.
An individual is reported to be a potential danger to themselves or others.
We just want to help you. We love you. We're going to protect you from yourself.
Allow due process, so no one's right.
Allow due process, because we don't need to do that now. We'll go ahead and fuck you, and then we'll do due process after that, right? Because we don't have that now.
Rights are trampled, but the ability to go to court, obtain an order, and then collect not only the firearms, but any weapons.
Hey, the whole fucking town. We'll take the butter knives, everything. We'll just take it all.
In the possession
Or
of that
might
individual.
take the firearms first and then go to court, because that's another system. Because a lot of times, by the time you go to court, it takes so long to go to court to get the due process firearms first and then.
Additional tools if an individual is reported to be a potential danger to themselves or others. Allow due process, so no one's rights are trampled, but the ability to go to court, obtain an order, and then collect not only the firearms, but any weapons in the possession
Or
of that
might
individual.
take the firearms first and then go to court, because that's another system. Because a lot of
I've got an example of the other tools that Mike Pence wants to give to police.
Stay down!
I hope you have some.
Here's another example of the tools that Mike Pence wants to give to the police and the you to be defensive against. Paul Pelosi knows this tool well. Roman Catholic video game Saints Row. All right. Hawkeye for his additional.
What did she say? A pain sandwich?
No, make me bring that back up to get the details. Are you kidding me? Come on, go back to what you had, and then
Oh, this is shady. Okay, it's shady enough. So so O'Keefe's letter of resignation is dated 6 February 2023. Again, back to the 26 martyrs of Japan. We got the Pedro Arrupe connection. The fact that now this is just what I found quickly. So Daniel Strack, Project Veritas's executive director, posted his conciliatory letter that O'Keefe had not been. Where does it say? O'Keefe had not been removed, and that was his letter was written 15 February 2023. 15 February, remember, we have the entry of the extreme oath of the Jesuit order, or fourth vow, in 1912, which is missing. But we have the 15 February date, and then of course 20 February 2023. O'Keefe said he is left. So officially states on 20 February 2023, O'Keefe states that he has left Project Veritas. And of course, we remember 20 February as we're given these dates. Berthier, Louis Alexander Berthier removes Pius VI from power in 1798.
Whoa.
We got it. We
Hit
got
that
a head
again.
wound. Head wound delivery. Yep.
How the fuck? This is why he's the Hawkeye.
So the thing is, there's obviously it smells like high.
First, give me the citation, pal. Give me your source that.
I'll have you know what? I'll send you the links rather than, because some of these things I couldn't. I think that with the having paywall, but I can get you the links after.
All right,
How's that sound?
O'Keefe steps down. O'Keefe leaves power on the anniversary of Berthier kicking
remove Pius VI.
Pius number 6 out of the papacy
In 1798. So the head wound delivery. And
not just any date, but the 1798 grievous head wound. Fulfilling prophecy. Fulfilling the 1260-year prophecy.
So the fact that you got three telegraph drum beats on the succession of events when things were posted and so on, it just, again, there's obviously something going on there. So
you are the hawk.
That's just want to.
You are the fucking hawk. You are the hawk.
So there's the official narrative, and of course, just like Tucker Carlson, it's leaving Fox News, or was I can't remember the official story, whether he was fired or if he left.
Or Candace Owens leaving the Daily Wire.
Or Candace Michelle Michael Obama Owens.
Leaving yeah. So
there's something going on there. But anyway.
So Kirby, I'm going to play that too. Kirby backed her up. And and said, listen, there's more evidence that Brigitte Macron is a man than there is Michelle Obama, because we have pictures of Michelle Obama as a child. Yeah, I've seen those. What do you guys think? If there's a case to be made for a high-profile transgender, it's much more Michael Obama, despite the so-called school pictures. What do you guys think is going on there? And remember, it is incredible. There are 12-year-old children that can Photoshop pictures, okay?
I think the Macron's wife, husband, there's something going on there. Like, don't you get even before, it's not even having thinking in that way. It's like there's a creep factor. There's something going on there. It's like that's a woman.
Okay,
I
agree.
Darnell, some time ago,
Fabian, God love him, sent something else. It's in French, so I don't really understand it. But something that's that I guess is some kind of marriage renewal ceremony, and there's a lot of creep factor to it. Okay.
Keep in mind, Brigitte, 24 years older than Emmanuel.
Yes, why? Because the story, as Amanda Volmer would say, is that he was a cute little teenage boy when he fell in love with his drama teacher at his Jesuit high school, and she left her husband and children to fuck and marry this teenage boy. That's the official fucking story. Yeah, before we go down to Candace Owens crazy. Okay? And I'm going to get to this in a minute. I'm going to pause and go around the table because you guys have been waiting patiently. I know you want to get in. But I'm going to come back to Candace Owens and what I told you, exactly what I told you days ago. And I get Jimmy the Doorknob and Cuppy backing me up on what I already fucking knew. Bennifer Trimpo needs her. She doesn't need Bennifer Trimpo. That made no fucking sense unless Bennifer Trimpo's handlers did it on purpose. For what? Did you get my email? Hang on. Did you? I know you got the email where... Are you fucking kidding me? Let me share this before I bring the rest of you on and before you all go and pull a fucking George all over the fucking place. I know you got my email where I shared this. Hold on a second. I'll pull it up.
Okay, while you're looking for that.
No, I got it. Shut up.
Okay, all right.
Love the Jews. Hate the Jews. Love the Jews. Hate the Jews. Woo, woo. Love the Jews. Hate the Jews. I did it. I made it.
I don't think it should be a pendulum. It should be a tea bag.
All right. In my spare time, I will remake it with a tea bag.
There's no pendulum. It's a tea bag.
Leave it to you to go there. All right. Do you have anything else before I go around the horn now?
There was a round table. I don't have the date. It's recently with I don't know all their names. At Daily Wire, and minus Jordan Peterson. But you have from Matt Walsh, Shapiro, the spear. I can't remember all their names. And then there was Candace Owens. Remember, and all the men, they're drinking their cognac, they're drinking their brandy. There's a charcuterie board in the middle, grapes, and then there's Candace Owens, it was a couple hour discussion, whatever they discussed, but it was recorded and then posted, and she said nothing. And I can't remember who had said that Owens looked like she was waiting out her contract. So obviously there's...
Right. Okay. So this was... How about that? This was in the cards long ago, and they're spinning it for Max bullshit bonfires, and drama, when this was in the cards long ago. She had wanted to go long ago, and they're just spinning this up. Hang on. I've got video footage. Spinning this up for Max bullshit. Come on. Hang on.
So yeah, and it just just like with the Carlson leaving Fox and the momentum behind him creating another that separate group, whatever it's called.
Hey, look who it is. Better for Shrimpo. It's me, Jericho Biden. I hear you're a very talented Trans Am.
Okay, I'm confused. You called the Ben Shapiro show. I'm Ben Shapiro. I don't know who Benifer Shrimpo is. Also, I'm not a Trans Am. That's a car. I'm a human man.
Fucking hilarious. Okay. In the cards long ago, and they just are just spinning it. All right, before I bring everybody else in, let me share this on Candace Owens, because this is all. Hang on. Oh, bless me. Because why? This is why. Okay, wait. Here it is. Here it is. Why? Because. Hang on.
Open the goddamn door! I can't open it! They're all connected!
It's all connected. Hold on. Couldn't share that with you, but just give me a second. I'll pull up this Candace Owens stuff. Red flag, damsel, first Jesuit. Here it is. Baby Factory. All right, like I said, doorknob telling me I'm right. I knew I was fucking right.
Hey, guess what? Breaking news. Candace Owens is out at the Daily Wire. CEO says. Controversial right-wing commentator Candace Owens at the Daily Wire have parted ways. Daily Wire and Candace Owens have ended their relationship. Daily Wire CEO Jeremy Boring, is that his name? No shit. He did not elaborate on the circumstances behind the move. But we know it's about Gaza and Israel. Owens joined the Daily Wire in 2020.
We know it's about Gaza and Israel. Love the Jews, hate the Jews, love the Jews, hate the Jews.
And hosted a weekday commentary show for the website. Shortly after Boring's announcement, Owens confirmed that she is no longer with the Daily Wire and reposted a statement. The rumors are true. I'm finally free, Owens wrote to her 4.8 million followers. There will be many announcements in the weeks to come, posting emoji. And she said that fans who would like to support my work, she's going to crush it. She doesn't need the Daily Wire.
You don't need any of these people.
She doesn't need any. She doesn't need them. They
needed her.
They needed her. She doesn't
Thanks,
need
Steph. Thanks, Steph. Yes. Yes. What I told you a week ago when this first fucking happened. This is nonsensical corporate suicide for Benefit Shrimpo and the Daily Wire. There's no fucking reason. She was perfect. She had solid conservatard values. She was on the Trump train. Woo, woo. And she actually provided a little spice, because you actually need that. Conservatard spice versus other conservatard is actually preferred, because you don't have to pretend that you have a phony commitard like Alan Combs across from Irish Catholic paper hanger Sean Hannity, which is just laughable. You know, or Tucker Carlson versus, what's her name? The lesbo over at PMSNBC, which is laughable. It's even better to have a pair of conservatards that don't agree with each other. That makes for an even better show, especially if your audience is conservatard. No reason for this in a business model. No reason, unless there are handlers up above all this that are making it happen. By the way, as I said to you in the email, yes, George, go. Go.
Oh, sorry. My radio just went off. Are you talking about Rachel Maddow?
Thank you, George. Yes, Rachel Maddow versus Tucker Carlson, another joke, conservatard, commitard, back and forth. Supposedly, she just was so good she took over from him. I have to back off. I have poked fun at Candace Owens in the past for spelling her name with an A. Apparently, it is quite common for Candace to be spelled Candace. I thought that maybe that was a black thing. It's not. It's just common. What is ironic is that Candace in Latin is white. That's ironic.
Did you see the spat? She got into it, Shmuley Boteach, and Shmuley Boteach dressed up as like the stereotype of a Jew for Purim, for the holiday. He wore like a big nose thing, and yeah, it was really cringe. Like he had Israeli flags on his face. It's so pathetic.
Love the Jews, hate the Jews, love the Jews, hate the Jews.
Swinging back the other way now. Shmuley Boteach owns everybody.
Shelly, love you, Shelly. Shelly is our beloved Shelly. Hello, friends. Shelly is Nary's in the audience. Shelly's there. Laura, love you all. David, good to see you. So Shelly shared this, that Candace Owens was found by Israeli pornographer let's see here. Let me share it with you guys first, and then I'll read it. What is the name? Ami Shafrir. Oh, see that? Ami Shafrir. She's the number one listed in this blog Wentworth report. I don't know any of these other people. Who is this? A CPAC homosexual. All right. So, surprise, surprise, Leslie fucking texted me. Hang on. All right. Now, let me shut up and go around the horn because Leslie might show up. All right. Mr. Alex has been waiting patiently. Go, Mr. Alex.
Okay, over the weekend, feel free to show that academic link up. On the weekend, I found out that when I was looking on who was really behind democracy, apparently I came from an excerpt from a book from Oxford University in the UK. It mentioned the Jesuits created what we know today as democracy. And it mentions Robert Bellarmine.
Is that in the link that you sent, pal?
Yes.
All right. Yes, you know what? I have heard that as well. I have heard Roberto Bellarmine, the dreaded inquisitor of Galileo Galilei, is the brilliant mind behind democracy. Good for you. Oh, that's a paper from Oxford. I will have to grab that too. If anybody has a way to get access to the full paper, send it to me. I'll hang on to the abstract as more of my homework. All right, pal. Well done. Anything else?
And also, I want to mention Ninja Alex. I think one of the people who usually appear on the show, he made a tweet saying how the left and right work together to further Jesuitical opinions or agendas.
All right, we can't have one Alex talking about another Alex. That's just too confusing. No, Ninja Alex is good. Is good shit. Ninja Alex is good shit. Jesuits manufacture public consensus by careful control of all mainstream alternative media. Just like we were saying, love the Jews, hate the Jews, love the Jews, hate the Jews. Here's demonic lobster, Elon Schlong. Yeah, good for him.
Oh, by the way, I have something to share when you.
Okay, pal. I will come around and I will give you your time. Oh, that's a good one right there. That's a good one right there. Good for you, Mr. Alex, giving props to Ninja Alex. Anything else, Mr. Alex?
Yeah. I wanted to further that on the weekend I sent you an email on how the left and right in New Zealand work together. We saw that happen with gun confiscation after the Christchurch incident in 2019. And now after the repeal of the smoke-free laws in New Zealand, the far left wants total prohibition introduced.
You know, I thought of you when I was watching the CIA leak of Tucker Carlson's paywalled show, as Tucker Carlson was pushing hard for an increase in drug laws, like the CIA piece of cuck he is. Actually going all the way back to Bass Salt's zombie. He had some clown come on, the supposed Bass Salt zombie hobo that tried to eat somebody's face off. Just utter bullshit. He went back to that to have some special guest say, that was just cannabis. That hobo was high on cannabis, and that's all it took to make him eat someone's face off. That's all it took. So, let me get you again. When Johnny is Lord Protector, this is why Mr. Alex loves me so much. When Johnny is Lord Protector, no more pre-crime. And that's for all natural substances. All natural substances are legalized. All synthetic substances are crushed at the fucking source. Crushed at the fucking source. I catch you making meth, you're done. I catch you making, you name it, LSD, you're done. It's not on the receiving end. It's what you do after you get fucked up that will be punished. No more pre-crime. All natural substances will be legalized. And then, if you're so fucking stoned that I don't care, no less your child, your dog starves to death, you're done. You're done. It's after the crime is committed that you get punished, as in any normal, sane fucking society. Okay? Just a quick recap on what happens when Johnny becomes Lord Protector. Anything else, Mr. Alex?
Let me also add, in New Zealand, they're trying to introduce alcohol prohibition. Not many people know that in New Zealand, you can actually buy your own home brew kit and make your own wine or beer or even moonshine.
Yeah, whoa, that's we gotta close that loophole immediately.
That's interesting because during Go ahead,
Danny. Give a
I was
contrast.
gonna say during Prohibition in the United States, they actually had those kits that you could make it at home too, and people weren't. It was kind of like a loophole in the law, and it made everybody go, and it was making people go blind because they didn't know how to distill it properly, so they would end up going blind from it. But that was actually the loophole we had here during Prohibition.
And let's go ahead and recap what Mr. Alex found for us on this same topic. That the United States government poisoned sources of illicit booze during Prohibition and mass murdered people with it. Got away with it. No punishment whatsoever. Got away with it. As they always fucking do. As they always fucking do. Got away with the crime. Who is going to rein in the government? Oh, we'll have another commission. We'll have the government rein in the government. All right, Miss Alex, anything else before I go to Professor Reply All George with great trepidation and fear?
Another thing is, hang on, I also found out, I found this from Eric's Reddit. Just hang on, when I was looking into when the far left blames their failures on neoliberalism, this actually happened in New Zealand in 2017. The man who created neoliberalism is actually a Catholic. Just hang on. Let me just hang on.
Go ahead, take your time, pal. Love you. You're doing great work. This shows we are at such a pregnant time for this massive paradigm shift. Whereas the right has matured. The right has matured and the left has gone to its natural extreme. The left is full on tyranny. There is nothing truly liberal about the left. There's no free speech. There's no freedom. It has gone to its natural extreme, and the right has matured and become anti-war and pro-speech. Things that 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, especially during Vietnam, the right were filled with fucktards and tyrants. Now we have blossomed. I don't mean we. I mean the right in general has blossomed and matured. Extremely dangerous time. They need to be kept anesthetized with Q-tardia and purple pills.
I just think the Jesuit world order link, that's about Friedrich Hayek. And what I found about neoliberalism is that it is based on the Jesuitical social justice as well.
Social justice created by Tapparelli?
Luigi, yeah.
Thank you. Hey, well done. You was on there. Great. Luigi Tapparelli. Luigi D'Azeglio Tapparelli. The Italian Jesuit sent to South America to stir shit. The godfather of social justice. All right, Mr. Alex, well done. You take a breath for a minute?
Just hang on. I'll need to find the just hang on.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Hawkeye.
Yep. I just wanted to hit that Tapparelli having a Sun Tzu drum beat, born on 24 November 1793. Remember, 24 November 1775 is the given death date for 18th Jesuit Superior General Lorenzo Ricci, the source of Sun Tzu and the drum beats. So that's,
is there a difference in the years?
Oh yeah. So Luigi Tapparelli. Yeah. So he would have come out. What 8? Oh man, mathematics.
Oh, so 2 years earlier. So 2 years earlier.
18 years. After,
18 years earlier.
After Ricci,
93, not 73. Okay.
We were given the death that we're given for
born
Ricci.
On
24 November 1793.
Ricci's. Tapparelli born on Ricci's death date. Leave it to the Hawk.
Given death date.
Okay, right. Love you, pal. Why are you saying that? Why are you saying that, Hawkeye?
I've said before, and I can't prove it at this time, but the Catherine the Great giving cover to 201 Jesuits in Russia. I think I think either he was number 1 or number 201. I think Ricci made his way from America after.
You're not pulling this out of your ass. Frederick Tupper Saucy agrees with you that the Jesuits went underground and pulled off a psyop. So this bullshit of when Ricci died.
Absolutely. No, but what Saucy never touches is he'll hit other dates, but he never touches the fact that Ricci's given. So August 2nd being the signing, he lays out very clearly the presence of Lorenzo Ricci at the signing of the Declaration of Independence in 1776. So after Ricci supposedly died in 1775. So less than a year later, Ricci's in America with Benjamin Franklin and all the other signatories.
November 24th, very frequently, turns out to be the day before Thanksgiving. Okay. Love you, Hawk. Well done. Love you, Mr. Alex. Well done. Go.
Oh, anyway, I think in part, Ricci from when he left America after, remember, the signing of the Declaration of Independence took place on his 73rd birthday. As we've said, the United States of America was the gift that Ricci gave to himself on his 73rd birthday. And after there, he left on
August 2nd.
Way.
Good for you. Yes. Brilliantly pointed out by secret Jesuit Freemason Frederick Tupper Saucy that the vast majority of a handful, like 3 fucking guys, signed the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, and everybody else signed it on Ricci's birthday as a birthday present to him. Good for you.
But how about even the fact that you have your U.S. Whatever the site is, your government website states clearly the signing took place on August 2nd. 1776, not July 4, even though everybody loses their shit on July 4. Anyway.
What? No. I don't know that I have that reference, that citation. So, do you have that on hand?
I can. That's been sent. That's been sent some time ago, but I can re-find it. And
hang on, I may have archived it. I may have. Constitution Daily Blog. That's not the official government source.
Yeah, okay. Archives.gov, nationalarchives.gov, or archives.gov, milestone documents. You have National Constitution Center, which is .org, which is looks like a blog. You have Wikipedia states occurred primarily on 2nd August 1776 at the Pennsylvania State House in Philadelphia. You have two different Wikipedia entries. You have the National Geographic Society signing of the Declaration of Independence, signed on 2nd August 1776.
Okay, so here archive.gov says, Continental Congress adopted the Declaration on 4 July. It is wow. Okay, so basically,
there's a veneer there.
It's a myth. It's cultural myth. Cultural myth that there was any signing at all. It's a cultural myth. It was adopted on the 4th of July. It was signed on August 2nd. 100%. Everyone signed it on August 2nd. It's a cultural myth that it was signed on the 4th of July.
So this is certainly, this is like, you know how you bring out, which is brilliant, the idea of the authorized version, so not just calling it the 60 or the King James, or like there's a way that people know things and would prefer to keep it that way because tradition trumps truth, not the other way around, unfortunately. And the fact that so that example, the red pill, blue pill, how Mr. Outhouse would have had it the other way around, that the blue pill was the actual pill that woke a person up, not the red pill. And yet, as we know today, red pill means supposedly is the pill to wake us up.
Yeah, I had this fucking thing in my doves of peace were flying out of my ass, and I just went everywhere to everyone, and including Thomas Althouse, even though Thomas Althouse just got a little too fucking weird with me. And yes, I did kind of fuck him over by scheduling an interview and just not really wanting to do it. So he went crazy on me. And I went and reached out to him as well, left him a message, never responded. So, hey, I reached out even though it was not comfortable for me to do that. All right. George, are you still there? Wake the fuck up, George. And why do you have, once again, you have that window right behind you? All right, just stay there. Just center in the screen, and just go.
Okay, well...
Tim Allen with your snap-on hat.
Well, I'm for my brother-in-law. It's just like, I probably should have my hat on because...
All right, no corny jokes. Just go to your points.
Okay, a couple of things. You had mentioned that Candace Owens, we're assuming she's a woman.
Stop. Did you really have to go there?
No, I didn't.
No, you're just being an asshole. Okay, go with the points that actually mean something. Go.
Okay, so something that has been brought up, that her husband is a Catholic. Also, somebody who was referenced earlier.
No, stop. Not something that was brought up. The reason for her existence She married an elite English Catholic, white and rich, whose daddy is a lord. And she is a constant baby factory. She told Bill Maher, I've been pregnant for 3 years and counting. We're doing it all at once because my Catholic hubby doesn't believe in contraception. Okay, now somebody mentioned she's married to a Catholic. All right, now go ahead and finish the rest of that.
Also, well, it turns out that according to Rob, the blue-collar Catholic, Jordan Peterson, who's like the face of conservatorship in Canada, his wife recently converted over to the Catholic Church.
Where the fuck have you been for the past 6 months? I love you to death, pal. I love you to death. We have covered Jordan Peterson being a tool of the Catholic Church through his wife and her rosary that saved her from cancer.
Okay.
Yeah, we've covered that ad infinitum, as our Latin brothers and sisters in Rome would say. We covered that at length, repeatedly, show after show after show. He's now doing videos with Robert Barron and Mike Schlitz on how well he knows Jesus and the Bible. After he said, I'm not getting trapped by you, Christian. I have to go there. Where is it? I'm not getting... Do I show his video or do I show... Oh, you're kidding me. I lost it. All right, keep going, George.
Okay, so yes, I realize I'm a little bit late to the party. I apologize.
Yeah, welcome to the party, pal. All right, hush for... Hey, pause for just a second. Hold on, pause for just a second. Ready? Hold on. This is for Johnny G.
You're Christian.
No. No, please, Jack. All right. So for some of these vid clips, they happen too fast for you guys to see them in Zoom. Okay. All right. Finish where you are, George. And you know what, George? As you're talking, I'm going to line up Peterson. I'm not going to be trapped. Go ahead.
Okay, and I know that on a completely disparate point, something we probably need to talk about again is measles. I know you talked about it before, but they seem to be drumming up this fear regarding it again. I know we discussed this probably a couple weeks ago, but they're drumming up the anti-vax propaganda, and they said, measles they said is becoming a new scourge in America where it shouldn't be. If it weren't for these pesky anti-vaxxers, this would not be an issue. Now they seem to drum this up probably every 5 or 10 years. And I guess it's time. I guess it's spot in the.
I don't even know if it's that it's that far in between, George. You're absolutely right. Measles is the go-to. You're absolutely right.
So about a decade ago, back in 2014, 2015, they said there was I know we talked about this before. There was supposedly an outbreak in Southern California, Disneyland, and something like over 100 people were supposed to have contracted this illness. Well, first, how do we know that? The media puts out these stories, and the CIA has been doing this forever, since at least the 1950s. They said, it's because these people weren't vaccinated or they didn't get their children injected. That's why we had this outbreak. And so California responded by basically eliminating all personal exemptions for schools, K through 12. The fellow who spearheaded this, and I know you talked links in Disciples of Ra, was Dick Pan, who was, I guess, a state congressman, Richard Pan. And he says, no more personal or religious exemptions for students going K through 12. Now, as I said, this year, they appear to be...
Right. Which state are you talking about? Because that was done all over the fucking place. The motherfuckers did that in New York. They did that in California. Right. So fucking Sylvester Stallone, he's with us, right? He left those commie jars in California to move to where? Fucking New York. So he can have his own little fucking insulated mansion there instead, right? Fuck him. What are you talking? What exemption taken away are you talking about? California?
In California, this is back in 2016. They took away.
Yeah, is that Dick Pan again?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, he was in the state. He was
that little cunt.
He He later joined the state senate, and he's now out of office. Now,
That's another motherfucker should be running for his fucking life. Him and Jacinta Ardern should be pulling each other back to get in front of the mobs.
Okay, so case in point, a week ago on the 27th, in my local communist rag, the Santa Rosa Press Democrat, they had an op-ed piece. They said, "Why are parents not getting their children vaccinated?" And they said, "No, it's not your traditional anti-vaxxer crowd. Part of it happened during the pandemic when people couldn't go to the doctors." But yes, the onus of the blame should fall on these anti-vaxxers who are going on the internet and being exposed to all sorts of misinformation. Therefore, Congress needs to clamp down on this. So,
all right, I was slightly distracted. So you're saying that some communist cuck is trying to expand to the national level of exemptions being taken away.
Well, not exemptions, but clamping down on dissenting views on vaccines on all social media. So, well, YouTube and Facebook have been doing that for years, but I guess they want to broaden their scope to basically all social media. And this is something that I realize there's no difference. We have in the United States, we don't have Democrats and we have Republicans. They're all on the same team. But you have two major political parties. You have the tyrannical party, and you have the slightly less tyrannical party. And Joe Biden, for 3+ years, has said, you know what, we need to down on any sort of dissenting views on the internet, especially when it comes to vaccines. Not just with the corona hoax, but with all shots. Measles, mumps, rubella, whatever. Because these diseases, thanks to vaccines, had all but disappeared. Now they're making a comeback, thanks to these anti-vaxxers.
Yeah, what have I said? I've said repeatedly. Demon rat reptilican. When the reptilicans are in charge, we stroll and hop and skip towards death, destruction, and suicide unless there's a false flag, and then we lurch. And when the demon rats run the show, we go as fast as we possibly can into death and destruction and tyranny.
Remember, there's no pendulum. It's only teabagging.
You stop, asshole. You already have too much work because of you. And let me give love to my brother from another mother, Jesus Saved Darnell, who is a tremendous help. The administrative work that Darnell has done damn near equals.
Thank you, Darnell.
The collaboration that he has done in giving us a breakdown of every show. Another good idea fairy, my beloved brother Miguel, pain in the ass that he is, just constantly giving me good ideas. Hey, how about this? Hey, you should do some more work here. Hey, how about doing some more work over here? Hey, do this. Yes, I have to fucking agree. Okay, I am now retrograding titles of shows to be some kind of a condensed bullet point of what's covered. It's not even come close to the 2-hour, 3-hour shows, but it's a better idea than some of the silly, crazy, wacky shit that I put up there just to get it published. So Darnell making that possible. If you want to go backwards, if you're bored and anybody, if you're bored and you go to an old show and you see that there's no topic list, and just for shits and giggles, you want to keep track of the topics of that show, bless you, please send it to me. Please send it to me. I will add it into the about, and I will change the title of the show to reflect what's covered in the show. That is a solid suggestion. Although, rather than suggesting, be nice if he actually just went ahead and did it. Hey, Johnny, I was looking at your old shows, and I give you a bullet list of what you covered. You should use this. Hey, thanks, pal. Who was trying to jump in?
What's the word on the hard drive?
Done. It's done. He says he's recovered so much since November that he can't get it on a thumbnail. What should he do? He wants to know. Let me tell you something.
It's called getting another thumbnail.
Or
Yeah,
thumb drive.
getting another hard drive. Right. Hello, McFly. Hello. That's fine. If he wants to stop and ask me every single move, that's fine, because I'll be paying for it one way or the other.
Well, at least he asked instead of saying, "Here's the bill." And
Right.
Then you
Right.
get to what the WTF moment.
I think.
Informed consent. Informed consent for teabag. Sorry.
No, I don't think it's a tea bag. It should be a pendulum blade.
The Pit and the Pendulum. What's his name? Edgar Allan Poe.
I think
Inquisition sauce. Yes, go ahead.
I think this was me. Talking about infrastructure in Libya. We'll get to that shortly. I will tell you a quick story. I've told this story once before, twice, maybe three times before. One moment that made this time in this shithole, not saying anything against the people or the country, what the Luciferian Jesuit scum turned into a living hell. I was patrolling. I came across an older gentleman, looked like a grandfather and his grandson, walking, a toddler, just an adorable little kid. I had some candy for him. As I'm going to pull it out, he knew. He already had his adorable, pudgy little fingers holding out. And couldn't stop myself. I kissed him on his forehead, and they looked at me. The grandfather looked at me like I was some kind of superhero. One of the few rare things that wasn't just a massive. I told you before. Princess Jesuit, Princess Loyola, Princess Bride, where they torture Wesley and pull a lever, and a year of his life is gone, and all he can do is cry. That's a fucking deployment. I'll get to, and what I wanted to mention as I'm talking about Libya, and fucking doorknob getting to Libya, that's 2011, right? 15 years later, we're going to examine the fucking war crimes. 15 years later, we're going to talk about Mr. Peaceful Democrat Obama destroying the infrastructure. Here's what I shared with you. I've seen it personally. What happens? I've seen it personally. How would you like to live with no electricity, with no water, with no sewage? And no end in sight? How would you like to live like that?
Then when people get sick, they claim, oh, it's a virus.
It's a virus.
Or something.
It's a virus. Just because. These criminal fucks. Dude, are you working or not? Love you, man. Glad to see you're here. He's like, I'm working. I mean, that's okay. You don't need a job. Just get in here. Yeah.
Yep. That's the same way with like the native tribes here in America. Smallpox blankets and all this and that. And it's like, well, you move the people off their land and out of their usual environment. Of course they're getting sick.
Oh, we're going to do that. We're going to touch on that. As he's probably moving, if I can get him in, I'll get Justin in to just say a couple of words. He's probably on his way to work. But listen, as we've covered that. Hey, brother, what?
I can pop in and out. I'm like doing shit.
I got you. What are you in some kind of security detail? You look like you're in a.
No, I'm literally driving around pizzas.
All right. That's not for too long, man. Your superstardom is here. Time for you to go full time. His
It's like
all right,
me and my
his-
cell phone.
yeah, he's got bad coverage. All right, pal, you're fading in and out, but it's a pleasure to have you stop by as you're able to.
I know. I just need a sponsor or some shit to fucking because I got bills to pay.
I got you, pal. Do what you got to do and check in as you're able to. It's going to be hard for you to participate as you're going in and out of coverage.
I see Project Whistleblower on his Rumble has 156,000 views now.
Outstanding. Documentary. Darnell says your documentary is up to 156,000 views on your channel.
Dude, and Stu Peters streamed it on his, and so did Michelle Moore. So it's in the 200,000 range at this point in regards to total views.
Awesome. Praise God. Any big interviews coming up?
No, not exact. Yeah, actually, Jason Christoph, who's in the alternate health freedom movement, he's got 40,000 followers on Instagram, and
Okay, good. We'll keep looking for it.
he got to see my documentary, and he's literally I knew this shit 10 years ago, but
Okay.
And then exposing convicts.
You broke up real bad on that, pal.
This dude Eric Huntley wants to talk to me. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's got 20,000 followers on Twitter. So I am too.
Hey, don't worry about numbers. Just worry about sincerity.
Down to start doing follow-up interviews with people who have already interviewed me. Then start. Did I cut out?
Good. Yeah. It's the connection's
Eric?
not good.
I know about Eric Hunley. I can tell you he's okay. I guess he's a little on the mainstream end. He's good friends with Allison Morrow, but he'll give him an honest interview.
All right, that's actually even better, Darnell. Even better if he's got another. And for anybody that doesn't know, Justin has already been on with Allison Morrow, and Allison Morrow is at best a purple pill. She was legacy media, and she went independent because of Corona hoax. She is not hardcore red pill, which actually is exactly the kind of interview that we want to score for Justin. That's that kind of 1 foot in the.
She was hard on me on certain aspects. She was like, "You're fucking claiming the FBI raid was fake. That's a huge thing to say." I'm like, "Well, look at it from my perspective. I also don't hammer that I don't make the claim in the documentary either. Mm-hmm. I literally am just making holes in all their narratives.
Yeah,
I literally am not oh yeah, it's clearly the FBI raid was fucking faked and it's a cover up and this and that. I just point out facts of what happened and how I'm in the middle of the whole thing. And nobody knows about me.
It's all about being precise with language. All you have to do is say the timing of the FBI raid on PV, right? This is before OMG. The timing with the FBI raid on PV is suspiciously close to me, Justin, delivering this bombshell material. Mm-hmm. So that it's very possible that as they're rifling through, trying to grab the diary where Biden's daughter says, I shouldn't be taking showers with my daddy, at the same time, they're scarfing up all this incredibly valuable information that Justin's secured out of Pfizer. It's absolutely, there's nothing wrong with saying the timing of the FBI raid is suspicious and could have been related. There's nothing wrong with saying that.
Well, it's right fucking smack dab in the middle of my freaking whistleblower experience. So, you know, that's point blank. Like, that's a fact. It's literally a fact. So, you know, you can't change that fact. You know, is it an extreme coincidence? I don't know. You know, I'm just poking holes in your narrative to see what sticks and what doesn't. You know, I mean, it could have been an organic FBI raid, but also, I mean, straight up, I've been told from one of my journalist friends that the FBI raid thing and James's narrative is probably the most suspect thing that I pointed out, because when the FBI raids people, there's a 99.6% conviction and prosecution rate. The FBI doesn't raid people for fucking bullshit reasons.
That's right. That's right. An excellent point. Is a tremendous amount of money and resources goes into each and every raid. So they want results out of it. So that's an excellent point. All right, pal, go in and out as you need to. I'll go around the horn again. Anybody want to jump in?
Oh, just the idea of the timing, coincidence. I know I covered this even on it's on my blog. The Manhattan blackout in and the grid, the blackout grid, and Jeffrey Epstein's residence. Not even a week? No, I think it was actually a week, 7 days after his arrest. In I can't remember the bloody year now. 2019, 2020, 2019. Am I getting this wrong? His residence being on the northeast corner of the blackout grid just happened to exactly fall upon that.
And wasn't he arrested in Florida? So Epstein's arrested in Florida, and then within 7 days, there's a blackout of the entire block where his Manhattan.
I can't remember it's not just an entire block. No, the grid, Times Square all the way. I can't remember the square, the area, but it covered a large area, and it was just for the evening of.
Right, just enough time for the FBI to go into his apartment and take out all the blackmail vids
of him with John Paul II.
Right. To take out seven blocks so that they can sneak out the photograph of Epstein and Ghislaine kissing what told his ring.
Yeah, we're so July 2019.
Right. Timing is everything. And hey, Justin, so we've been talking about James's marital status, the fake marriage stunt that he pulled, apparently more than one. Apparently there was one in Massachusetts with a male, and then he mentioned one in Oklahoma.
In Oklahoma?
Yeah. In his resignation vid, he said, I would like to be married one day, and we were married for fake in Oklahoma. Did he say Oklahoma, guys? Yeah.
Well, Oklahoma was a play that he did, and it wasn't with a dude. It was with
That's
Julie
what he
Chandler.
meant. Right. All right. Why would you mention that as an example of a pretend marriage? That a play doesn't even count, as opposed to a stunt, which is supposedly what happened in Massachusetts, is his protest against government recognizing marriage. So it wasn't in Oklahoma. It was when was he participating in the drama named Oklahoma as just an actor?
It was right. I think it was like August of 2021.
And what was the production company? Was it a school or was it a theater?
So in the film, I mentioned Julie Trammell, she's currently dating Ricky Schroeder, the actor. You know of him. and I've actually connected with Ricky, but they were both friendly with me up until the point where I started calling what was happening in Palestine genocide. You know, I literally she was on my private story and shit, and I put her in there, and like I wasn't like that vocal on my Instagram about like what I was witnessing as genocide, and then she just full on blocked me because her and Ricky support Israel, but that's a tangent. She was the actor or like theater girl that played this redhead that was James's in Oklahoma. I haven't seen the play. I don't really know, how good it was, or like if there's like subliminal messaging with the Oklahoma play, other than, I mean, it goes to show that James is into theatrics, and I mean, I think they spent like $30,000 in donor money just for that freaking thing.
Wait. So PV put on the play of Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Hang on. I've got some. I want to share something with this.
We could go back into the Project Veritas Telegram, or
you did a fantastic job. You had a couple of seconds in Project Whistleblower, and I'm like, I need to see that play. I've got some insight. Hold on a second. I've got a clip real quick.
What the fuck?
Margot Robbie from Suicide Squad saying, what the fuck? That is a big deal. Why the fuck would tax exempt Project Veritas all the way from the top down expend resources to put on the play Oklahoma if that's just not an exercise of theatrics?
I mean, James likes the
Clearly so. All right. Right. Fading in and out. We're losing him.
Didn't Gus Grissom criticize communication just before he died, 67?
Was it communication?
Yeah. How could NASA go to space, go to the moon?
Right.
If you can't even communicate between buildings and the crew in the capsule.
Right.
Yeah. They're on the moon, right?
Okay.
And they're sending in images back from
great. Good for you.
Like high res, what, JPEG, TIFF,
right?
Whatever format images.
Right.
Wow. Really?
Somebody found a tape of the original moon, the Apollo, whatever the one that they actually jumped on the moon with Armstrong and everything. And they go, here's a high resolution version of that film. And it looks no different than what we saw back in the 60s. I'm going, where's the high definition? It's still grainy and black and white. What the heck? But that's interesting what Justin mentioned about Ricky Schroeder, because remember
I was going to say that. Yeah.
A while back I showed you a video where
So apparently Rick Schroeder has as the saying goes, as the cliche goes, come to Jesus. He'd be a great connection. I would hope he'd be an awakened connection. It's very sad that you've got a couple of connections that you may have lost because of this pendulum. I just created this GIF. I'm going to share it again. Don't get in an accident, but I'm going to put it on the screen here. The whole purpose of Israel is to slam people. Give me a second, George. Is to slam people with this pendulum back and forth. Love the Jews, hate the Jews, love the Jews, hate the Jews. I'd hate, I'd hate for Justin to be on the cusp of making or having fantastic connections and losing them because of that ridiculous paradigm. George, you have something related? Please be quick and get yourself centered into the screen and mic.
Okay, yes, this is regarding Oklahoma, the musical, which came out in 1931. It was a Roger and Hammerstein, Oscar Hammerstein, and Richard Rogers, both of whom were Freemasonic Jews, B'nai B'rith. So I've not seen the musical, so they were the production team of the 20th century. They did everything they did was an instant hit. South Pacific, the aforementioned Oklahoma. I'm drawing a blank, but it's just like they had a machine back and said, "Oh, it's a Roger Hammerstein. It's going to be a success. It's going to conquer Broadway, and it's going to conquer the rest of the world."
Yeah, I'm looking
that's
up.
all I had to say.
Yeah, so this makes good copy here. So who else than fucking Snopes is the #1 fucking hit? Did Project Veritas James O'Keefe star in a production of Oklahoma? True. Why? Because it's damaging to conservatard undercover journalism.
You know, I wanted to say something now that we have Justin on.
Sure.
If we can get through. I was watching James O'Keefe's CPAC speech, and he claimed that he came up with the idea to have the set at Ignacio's with the Pfizer guy, and that he set it up so that it would all be caught in an open area as it was. I mean, he basically played up himself, patted himself on the back like it was all his idea.
Yeah, Justin, are you aware of that, pal? If you can hear us. All right, why is this doing this? All right, try again.
I hear you guys. How about now?
Better.
You
Go
guys
ahead.
hear me? Better?
All right, now it is.
No, James had nothing to do with picking that restaurant. Is that good?
Yep, got you
hear
now.
me? Hello?
Yes.
Got me?
Yes, gotcha.
Yeah, James had nothing to do with it. Good. He had nothing to do with picking that restaurant. It was pretty much just we were supposed to go to Sacconi's Dumbo, which is like a 5-star restaurant, and I had switched it last minute because I thought that the pizza place, since there was literally no one in there and we just drove by it, I was like, oh, like let's go in there. You know, why not? I didn't even know it was fucking called Ignacio's. You know, so that's just God connecting the whole thing with Rome and everything.
Agreed. Hey, do you, Justin? Do you know
this guy Jacob Israel?
Do you know what kind of? Hang on, let me pull this up for you. Do you know what kind of budget was involved? How many? What kind of resources was involved for this play? Because it's looking really extensive as I'm checking out the highlight.
Yeah, don't quote me on that, but Gio, don't quote me, but I think they spent like $30,000.
Holy shit!
Play. Yeah,
Well,
but
that's a
don't
lot
quote
of money.
me on that. I wasn't a part of PV.
Wow.
I was not a part of PV at all. I only really heard that through the grapevine from when I was a journalist there. but don't quote me on that. That number could, not be accurate by
Hey,
any means.
here's what I'll say.
Based off.
Here's what I'll say as a journalist, pal. James O'Keefe, while he was, I guess, CEO of Project Veritas, undertook an expensive drama of a Rodgers and Hammerstein play that a former employee said may have cost as much as $30,000. That's how I would cite that, which is insane.
What was the purpose? Yeah. Were they trying to was this a money-making venture, or what was the purpose behind it?
I couldn't tell you. I literally have no idea what the point of it is, other than let's blow some money because why not?
Right.
And to have fun. I don't know. James is a big guy who likes to have fun, so he enjoys theater.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with having fun. There's everything wrong.
There's nothing wrong with having fun or enjoying theater at all. I just think the purpose of Project Veritas is investigative journalism. There's no investigative journalism with doing a play.
Yeah.
Unless you're literally trying to sting someone who is in a theater setting, and you literally have to spend $20,000 to do so, then sure, I get it. But I mean, but I can't affirm that it was $30,000. But that's kind of what I think I heard through the grapevine. But I mean, this was over a year ago at this point, so.
Well, that's fine, pal. I'm completely comfortable. You bet. I'm completely comfortable with couching it exactly as I said, which is that a former Veritas employee close to O'Keefe thinks that the production may have cost as much as $30,000. Listen. There's nothing wrong with having fun, and there's nothing wrong with having fun with the people that you work with. There's everything wrong with having a set amount of treasured resources and wrongly allocating them to what you say is fun, as opposed to the budget of investigations and taking care of employees. That's your number one and number two priority. Investigations and taking good care of your employees. Number one and number two. Then after that, then you go have some fun on the side. Not because you got a hard on for being a fucking play, but because you want to take everybody to a water park. That's different. That's what you do as a leader.
Yeah, the thing I find interesting about O'Keefe is, he'll say, well, there's these other people working with us undercover, so on and so forth. But I came up with all the good ideas. I came up with every key great idea. It was mine.
As I said, Darnell, brilliant point. Brilliant point. As I said before, in how this Jordan Walker, right? Jordan Tristan Walker, how the viral Jordan Walker video came out, the way that he spun it, that also, as far as I'm concerned, is from the Lord. The fact that Justin, it was all his hard work, he was the fucking honeypot, and you don't see anything. And Justin, they get him up, walk him off, and then it's action. In comes O'Keefe for his gotcha journalism. And he is the only face and name to this viral video. And it turns out that it is blown up by legacy media because it reinforces the bullshit narrative of gain of fiction. And so, as far as I'm concerned, the Lord divinely protected Justin from having his face and name associated with a massive fraud. And yet, he's still able to step up and throw the patented Bill and Johnny flag on the fraud in the first place. So that's James's modus operandi, is to hog the spotlight for himself when he's got. So when you guys do something, you guys hand me
Hold on.
something. Go ahead.
I want to add something to that. So after I resigned, and this isn't even in the documentary, I thought it might have been worth including, but you know, I had so much to include that some things just had to be left out. On November 28th, James O'Keefe texted me this. Hey, it's James O. I want to have you on stage as a whistleblower at AmFest December 18th. I think you deserve recognition for Pfizer. There will be 5 others for stories this year. Let me know if you're interested. James. I didn't respond for over 8 hours. And then I said, hey, James, sorry I missed your call earlier today. I hope you are well. Let's talk tomorrow about this. And he texted me literally 2 seconds after I sent that text. And he said, okay, let me know a good time. And I said, you know, I texted him the following day and we spoke. And I said I needed to think about it. And after that, I told him I would go because I wanted to potentially, you know, see how he would react, see if he would give me more information. And then I pulled the rug on him a week and a half after, saying, by the way, I'm not actually going because I still don't trust you because of the whole Bohemian Grove stuff. And yeah, so I find this whole thing interesting where, like, I mean, he brings it up in the call where I bring up how I'm doing Project Whistleblower. Like, I've published this documentary. What's your comment? And he was like, were you gonna basically ambush me? And I was like, well, no, I just think it was actually a great play on your part to get me back under your wing. You know, that's how I felt about the whole thing. And I mean, the whole AmFest situation was interesting because James, like, after I said yes, he literally was like, you'll have an opportunity to speak on stage, but like, I know we have our disagreements in regards to Bohemian Grove. And then I was asking him, like, dude, am I allowed to say that I was a fucking Pfizer whistleblower? And he, like, basically didn't want me to put my name to being a Pfizer scientist, which I thought was, like, absurd. You know, like, oh, you're just going to take away my former job before I took your job? Like, you know, it's ludicrous how this guy tries to, like, manipulate people and have it his way or the highway, you know? And so then I just, you know, I thought it was an interesting situation, but so, yeah.
I got you, pal. I got you. I'm not tracking that email in relation to O'Keefe. So Darnell's telling me that I sent you the email where O'Keefe claimed.
I'll put the link. I'll just send you the link here in chat.
I got you.
That goes directly to O'Keefe making that claim. But
Excellent.
I wanted to just mention that Justin, since you're talking to Eric Hunley, from what I recall about him, he is aware of a lot of government corruption. He is not a no virus guy. So I think, you know, talking to him a lot about corruption, he's probably going to feel that, but he's probably not going to want to talk much about no virus, just FYI.
Let me say that from the perspective of a leader, first of all, James texts you after Project Whistleblower is published and says, hey, pal, I'd like to recognize you as doing an outstanding job as one of our journalists.
This was before Gio.
Got it. Okay.
This was in November.
Okay, good.
So here's what me and the copy editor thought was going on. We basically thought that James was thinking that I was already, like, up to something, you know, like putting this whole thing together with my entire story, which is entirely possible, you know, because I mean, even Alex Jones literally goes out and says, like, James O'Keefe deserves, like, you know, some crazy award, you know, for that cybersecurity analyst gay date that he went on. He's like, this guy is like the best journalist in the history of the world, you know, basically sucking him off like a month before Project Whistleblower comes out.
So from even, okay, that makes a huge difference, because if he were to do that after Project Whistleblower came out, I would be really shaken with how smooth. He's already disturbingly smooth under criticism, disturbingly polished under criticism. But I will tell you that this mechanism of his, of taking all of the hard work from his volunteers and employees and claiming it as his own, and then somewhere down the road doing an award ceremony, that don't fucking cut it. That doesn't fucking cut it. Not on a leadership perspective, not from as a business model. It doesn't cut it. For instance, okay. So just on something simple like Darnell being the partner that sent me Project Whistleblower in the first place. What did I do? I had Darnell come in and co-host with me to interview Justin. That was absolutely the no-brainer right thing to do. James O'Keefe taking all of just incredibly hard work. Are you kidding me? The guy goes on a homosexual honeypot date to crack this story open, and that's all James O'Keefe. And down the road, you're going to throw Justin a bone and recognize him at some kind of closed Project Veritas award ceremony. And what is Justin going to put that on his resume? What, he's going to take a photo. Oh, hey, here's a picture of my award for all the fucking hard work I did. No, that doesn't cut it. Not from a leadership perspective, not from a business perspective. All right, pal. Anything else that's on your mind right now?
Yeah, I think, it's, you're hitting it on the nail on the head with the fucking hammer. It's who James is to take all the credit. But that's also the nature of the undercover journalism. Like, he is also the front man for Project Veritas, and he's apparently he's the guy who takes all the arrows from, all these stings and does all the fundraising. So that's why that is, I suppose. And the undercover journalists who do his stories ultimately acknowledge the sacrifice and aren't lining up to have their name over the people that they ultimately do expose, but
I get that. I get that, Chest. I get that maybe he is the brand, that it's his name and his face, because, by the way, legacy media blows him regularly, which makes no sense unless you're part of the machine. Even so, you can still have a successful journalist operation where you're giving better credit. You can still be a leader, you can still be a brand, you can still be a name and a face, and yet share the credit with the fucking people that did the actual work themselves, and not really lose anything as far as bringing in money and bringing in donors. No one's going to question no one here questions whether or not Resistance Rising is from Johnny Cerrucci. Even though I have my guys regularly participating in whatever it is, and when they do something, they get full fucking credit. That's a weakness. At the bare minimum, that's a weakness, and it may actually be indicative of an operation, which is the whole reason why Justin did his documentary, that there's some kind of blown cover as cover operation going through for James O'Keefe, whether it's Project Veritas or OMG O'Keefe Media Group, that his goal is to blow cover as cover, which is why he had this unbelievable information from Justin, and it all got disappeared.
Well, what he also is, this is in the film, but there's that 45-minute, hour-long resignation / James got kicked from the board type shit where he ultimately leaves PV, and the board member literally goes, "James, you had nothing to do with the fucking Pfizer story." And James goes, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Of course I did. I always have something to do with everything." I literally recruited this Pfizer whistleblower off of this proverbial ledge to get him to become an undercover journalist to go the long road to do this bombshell story that is ultimately a nothing burger. Right? I mean, that's the whole context behind that, and I provide all the context. Now it's a matter of getting the public and James's cult followers and the people who see him just as this truth seeker to really understand that.
I have a time mark for where he does that. I may have caught that. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. At 14 minutes, he mentions the Pfizer vid. Let me see if I have him. Hang on. Let me share it with you guys. Fast forward, 13, 14, here we go.
Our video became a global phenomenon. It was about Pfizer and one of the directors discussing mutating the virus. Our confrontation video, where he locked me in a pizza restaurant with you, and he smashed the equipment and called the police, that became a phenomenon and was riveting television for our audiences glued to their screens. That was probably one of my favorite things that ever happened. It was just really unbelievable. It was like true to be false and seemingly too false to be true, but it was real. If someone else is here, you can let them in. Hello, come on in. Just giving a few remarks to the team here, so you came at the right moment. So the only thing that changed were these videos. Outlets in India and China covered the story, and our social media exploded by 10x. Our video became a global phenomenon. 3 weeks.
Lovely. Thank you for drinking on the microphone.
The only thing that has changed is that we broke the biggest story in our organization's history. You know that one I'm talking about? Pfizer. The last week of January, with 50 million views. That broke the record by 10x.
Thank you, Justin, for your hard work.
Our video became a global phenomenon. It was about Pfizer and one of the directors discussing mutating the virus.
All right, got it. I don't have the part where someone calls him out for not having anything to fucking do with it.
It's like a minute longer, I think.
Okay.
He says it right after that.
I'll hit that back up.
All right. Thank you all for being here on a President's Day, but I think it's fitting that, we're here on President's Day. So nothing about how I've conducted myself over the past 13 years has really fundamentally changed. Until now. So
what's with the big ass Browning gun safe there in the fucking office? What the hell is that? Is that a prop? Are you kidding me?
I don't know. Good question.
For fucking real.
What has changed in the last 3 weeks?
John, you gotta put it at the 44-minute mark. 44 minutes.
Oh, 44 minutes?
44. Or, oh, shit. It is 44 minutes.
Yeah, correct. That is the extent of it.
Wrong.
All right, I'll find it later, pal. It's all good. I'll find it later where he gets called out on it.
Yeah, it's all good. Don't worry about it. I mean, it's in the doc. It's literally just him saying he talked me off a proverbial ledge.
Right, yeah, right.
Which, I mean, the context of that is bro, I had given him the fucking whistleblower story, Willy Wonka's whistleblower story, and he basically had to say, oh, yeah, I can't tell this story on your behalf. And they also had all of my fucking evidence. So I don't know what the proverbial ledge was that I was going to be doing other than literally sticking my neck out and saying, oh, I was a fucking whistleblower source for Project Veritas, and they're not telling the world how fucked up everything is with these vaccines, and and like, here's what I got, but I can't exactly prove it. You know, that's why I had to take the job, to go prove it.
And he bribed you with the job in the first fucking place.
Yes, I acknowledge that it basically was a fucking bribe. You know, like, the power of suggestion is very powerful, and like, I knew it was a bribe to get me away from Pfizer, and to, you know, I go back to whether I should have resigned or not, but I mean, the whole thing like worked out with God's timing.
It's good you expose the truth.
Right. Say it again, Darnell.
So it's good you expose the truth. I think that's very good.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, God told me to go work at PV, even though I was like, are you sure? You know, like, there was this gut feeling that my time at Pfizer and exposing Pfizer was done, and it was time to go investigate the investigators, basically.
There's no doubt, pal. There's no doubt that there's some interdimensional agencies at work throughout everything that's been going on with you, and I'm thrilled to be a part of it. Love you, brother. Thanks for stopping in. Is there anything else going on you want to share?
Yeah, I was asking you about Mike Gill. Does everyone in this, like, do we all trust him? Do we not trust him? Do we just think he's, you know, I mean, I personally trust Mike. I just, you know, people have told me not necessarily to trust him. So, you know,
I think it is the only way. We've covered this before. We've covered this before. How can you vet someone? The only way to vet someone fully is with a relationship over time. So you can make judgments along that, a long time. You can make the judgments as time goes on, is what I'm trying to say. And at this point, my judgments on Mike Gill, I think it is unlikely that Mike Gill is manipulated by an official source. I think it is likely that what Mike Gill says is sincere. Now, there's a difference between sincere and truth. You can be sincerely wrong. You can be sincerely wacky. Okay? For me, the biggest problems with Mike at this point are the mistakes in his own mind that he sincerely puts across. And let me tell you something. Listen to me, my son. This is an intelligence technique to have someone that is not an agent, that sincerely believes the wrong thing, and then you blow him up in order to promulgate propaganda. That is a huge intelligence. It is a powerful intelligence tactic. To have someone that sincerely believes something is wrong, sincerely believes the wrong thing, and to blow them up so that the wrong thing gets spotlight coverage. Now, I don't think that that's in play a lot for Mike. Specifically, as Mike, when I called Mike and when I apologized to myself on Mike's behalf, he was quite the pride-filled asshole. He was quite the pride-filled asshole, and told me, hey, you know, Johnny, the Twitter bomb that attacked you was from Brendan O'Connell and not from me. Okay, pal. Granted, so Brendan O'Connell was the piece of shit that claimed that I was stealing your money. You could have intervened at any point if you truly cared, if you truly believed that I was being wronged. You just stood back and let the shit bomb explode. That's where you were an asshole. So, if anything, that's where I would not trust Mike again, but I was really sticking my neck out. Both my wife and I, we were going way above and beyond to try and get this guy some fucking money. I won't do that again. I won't trust him that much again, but that was kind of a unique circumstance. Can you trust his information? Absolutely. Now, listen to me, young man. Listen to me, my son. You just have to be precise with your language, okay? You don't put your reputation behind what Mike Gill claims. You simply state, this is the claim of Mike Gill, and I, as a journalist, find him believable. You hear what I'm saying? You don't put your reputation behind what Mike Gill states, okay? You say...
that's what happened.
Go ahead.
Johnny, I spoke with Michelle Moore, obviously. I went on her show, and Mike loves my story. He loves it because he sees it as nearly identical as what happened to him in a way, you know? And my thing is, I told Michelle, like, hey, I don't necessarily, like, she wanted to bring Mike on after an hour of talking to me. And I was like, that's great, but like, let's just do us at first, you know, because
smart,
you know, it's my story, right? It's not me and Mike's story.
And, right. And there is a risk. There is a risk with this, Justin. And the risk is that Mike is spun as a crackpot, and then we link Mike, and not that Michelle was doing this on purpose. She may have just been stumbling into this, but she puts you and Mike together, and suddenly, exactly like you said, your story becomes your and Mike's story. And then if Mike is discredited down the road, so are you. That's a considerable danger.
Right. Where I trust Mike based on what he has talked about and what he has presented as a journalist and what I've listened to. It feels like it's a lot of weight behind it. And Mike literally told me when I spoke to him on the phone, he's like, dude, you don't have to trust me. Just listen to what I say. And that's, what I have been. And I have a great level of discernment when it comes to reading people. And yeah, I think a lot of what Mike says is very truthful. So, but do I want to be necessarily attached entirely to his story and his claims if he's ended up discredited?
No. You would do that as a journalist, as someone, if it was you as a journalist interviewing Mike, not you combining your experience with Mike's experience. And Mike has a powerful story to tell of O'Keefe. Mike claims that he gave his information to O'Keefe because O'Keefe asked him for it, and O'Keefe stabbed him in the back and turned the information over to Mike Flynn to be used and not to used against him, and not for in any way, shape, or form for as some kind of Justice Department investigation or something like that. So that's valuable, that's important, but that in no way, shape, or form is something we don't do. Witness Justin Leslie combined with witness Mike Gill. No, those are two separate stories, two separate issues. We can have journalist Justin Leslie interview witness Mike Gill. That's different. And by the way, which ear did you have? Did you have your left ear pierced or your right ear? Because I don't see it in your right ear.
I had my left ear pierced. I did both at first.
I knew it. All right. So listen to me. You need to go watch Jim Brewer talk about ear piercing when you were growing up in the 80s. This was long before you were even a thought. If you grew up in the 80s, comedian Jim Brewer will explain to you, and you get your left ear pierced, you're telling people you're still straight, okay? If you grew up in the 80s and you had your right ear pierced, then you're telling people you're gay, all right? It's a hilarious routine that comedian Jim Brewer does, and it's fucking true.
I think that shit's hilarious because I've looked into it all, and there are people on the internet that'll tell you it's, it doesn't really matter the ear. But the bottom line is Justin went all in to portray a homosexual honeypot, and it was neither fun nor easy. Listen, again, how do you not stand there on a dais with your arm around Justin if you're James O'Keefe? This is the guy, and the only reason not to
is if your journalist wants to stay undercover and say, hey, you know what, man, I'd love to share the spotlight with you. Thank you for the offer, but I want to stay anonymous so I can do this again. That's the only reason not to come on a stage on a platform and say, hey, this is the guy that threw his everything in to breaking this story. It's just unconscionable that O'Keefe would work that way, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, there was no way that James was going to do that at the time, at least, because I was a Pfizer scientist. He didn't want the world knowing that a Pfizer scientist got this story, or didn't want the world knowing the name of the Pfizer scientist that got the story, because if you connect all the dots, it leads to me being a scientist during the whole pandemic and everything. Or
you mean kind of what
rollout.
You kind of mean what you mean what Carrie Madej did with Stu Peters?
Yes, I do.
And it might have been an honest fuck up, but the bottom line is you think that this was the intelligence that the FBI used to key off of, hey, we need to go gather this material out of the Veritas vaults on behalf of Pfizer. I think that's a very fair accusation to make.
Honestly, I don't think they really obtained anything that I had obtained necessarily. I think the whole thing, from my perspective, right? This is not an affirmation or any of that shit. It's just from my perspective, the raid of the Biden diary was a huge fucking fork in the road that they were able to use. Like, James was literally, the day I met James, he was showing me his wrists like this, like bent at the kitchen, the table at Capitol Grill. They drop a $600 dinner on me to tell me your story's not being told. Look at me, my wrists. The FBI raid was so scary, and I'm like, bro, there's blood on your hands is basically what I told him. I wish I recorded the conversations, but I was, a jackass and wasn't thinking to
no, who would
record
think?
the
Who
meeting.
would think? I like your take. I absolutely like your take that it was his handlers providing him with plausible deniability. I love that. I would say that. In fact, I will couch it in those terms. That Justin Leslie feels that the FBI raid was done to provide James O'Keefe plausible deniability for what he had already planned in order to spike the story. I love that take. And I will... Go ahead.
It's entirely possible, because, and James won't admit it. That's the thing. He won't admit to it. I've actually asked him, like, yo, wasn't the timing of the FBI raid, like, perfect? Literally, like, perfect. A week and a half after this viral video on Stu Peters' show, oh, you're going to get raided, and no mention of anything that I was doing.
Right.
And then you use it as a massive excuse to make sure that my story doesn't get released. And this is another thing. James Laulino, A1, my colleague, and he was also one of my handlers, journalist handlers when I was a whistleblower source. He literally told me when we drove from Jersey to DC in the car, he said, if we didn't have to deal with that FBI raid, we probably would have released your story.
You have,
as a whistleblower.
In Project Whistleblower, you have a female on the phone saying exactly that. Who was that female?
I don't think that's in there.
Yeah, you've got in Project Whistleblower, you've got a phone conversation with a female. Somebody else have
it? Nightingale?
I guess.
Alicia Gamble?
I guess it was Alicia Gamble that was the one who was saying, fuck, dude, you connecting the dots between why they were intimidated out of doing anything related because of the FBI raid. I'll go watch again. That's a good guess. So that was your conversation with Alicia Gamble.
I'm not sure if it's explicitly stated, but there was a long conversation that I had with Nightingale, who was having that type of a conversation where she basically was saying
that was all the context of James and Project Veritas leadership were inclined to potentially release my whistleblower story after the Jordan Walker story because they wanted a follow-up. They wanted a Pfizer follow-up. So they literally like dug into the after action reports and like some of the footage that I had from when I was as a whistleblower. And she sent me, that's how I got some of the information back. That's how I got the Commonwealth footage back, is because Nightingale sent it to me. So God bless her for doing that because, it saw the light of day. But she was also literally saying, bam, it won't see the light of day because the content is dated and this, and that. Like, the feds are going to come after us more now if we release this, and found out that we hired the guy, and I don't know. It's just interesting. Like, because, and yeah, it's just a lot.
That's
like,
exactly right. That's the conversation I'm talking about. That's exactly right.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I don't know, like, people have told me, some people love Nightingale and some people don't. I personally, she was like, has literally been one of my best friends, so in order, to tell the story, she has to be part of it. And I connect her to her husband, who was at January 6th in SWAT gear, which I just think is like kind of nutty, but that's just, I don't think we're really no longer friends because of me pointing out
Project Whistleblower. Watch Project Whistleblower, where Justin shows that Brian Gamble was a provocateur, a masked provocateur during the January 6th Fedsurrection. That is extremely suspicious. It is improbable that if Brian Gamble is a government or FBI asset or more, perhaps even an agent. No, probably an asset. He's probably not in that deep. That he would be doing such a thing without the knowledge or participation of his wife, Alicia Gamble. So,
well, he's one of General Flint's literal like right-hand mans. He is the CIO of America Project, which is started up by Patrick Byrne and like run by Flynn. So I don't know. I also literally say that these people could be useful idiots and that they don't know better and that they like are just, they're literally could be just programmed to think a certain way and whatever, like I also say that. I say they literally could be useful idiots. And if they are useful idiots, then that's great. Like God bless them, and I love them. Like if they're useful idiots, but if there's a higher up agenda, to have manipulation in the media, right? I mean, Johnny, there's the last point I'll make before I run inside to finish up my shit that I'm doing for work. She did a story on the New York Times that had to do with January 6th with what's his name? I said it in the doc. Something Berg, I forget his name, but New York Times, like he's like part of the national security team at the New York Times.
So she did an article or she was a source?
She was an undercover journalist that did a January 6th story.
Wow.
On what's his freaking name? I forget his name. Something Berg. It's in the doc though.
Okay.
Tucker Carlson did a whole thing on it. And so, that's just another coincidence, that I'm lining up.
Let me tell you,
in regards to
legacy media is all over this. Legacy media raw story with this photograph. He's not even recognizable. Tim Hart waves to riders, I assume it's this individual here, at the Lower West Plaza as Mike Flynn associate Brian Gamble looks on and Proud Boy James Howell speaks. So this is, I guess, Howell And here's
Yep.
Gamble behind him.
Yep.
That's crazy. Here in alternate.org, there's an entire article on the role Brian Gamble plays as a so-called QAnon Chief Information Officer.
Well, so Johnny, another thing that's really interesting is Brian Gamble is all, covered up, right? There's like one picture where you can actually identify it's him when he pulls his face mask down and he's shaking Jim Watkins' hand, who is the owner of 4chan and 8chan, which is where what right back in like 2017, right? And that is very interesting because Gamble was recording with a GoPro Tim Hart, who was wearing a fucking QAnon hat and a QAnon sweatshirt. And right around that time, there is a lawsuit for defamation with CNN and General Mike Flynn, where CNN is calling out, like, CNN was apparently like calling out Flynn for promoting the QAnon community and et cetera, right? Like they basically called him Q1. And I think I don't know. I need to read more into that lawsuit, but like they could have potentially used Brian Gamble's footage.
I just had an epiphany. And that epiphany is that the ones conducting the January 6th Fedsurrection, it was not the far left government machine. It was the Trump-Flynn machine, outing and screwing the very people that support Trump in the same way that it was the CIA massacring and killing the Cuban patriots at the Bay of Pigs rather than helping them or screwing up. It was the CIA that slaughtered the Cuban patriots at the Bay of Pigs, not Fidel Castro. It was the Mike Flynn machine that did the Trump supporters on January 6th, not the far left Biden administration. So
it's entirely possible. Well, because everyone talks about Ray Epps, but I mean, there's footage that show Ray Epps like 11 rows deep, and Brian was at the front gate, like right when the thing breached. And I mean, there's a lot that still needs to be said.
Absolutely.
I mean, there had to be involvement, like the Capitol Police probably had to be in on the whole thing. Like there were like, or at least some of the Capitol Police had to be in on the whole thing. So it's.
Oh, there's open footage, Justin. There's open footage of the police pulling the gates open and say, "Hey, come on in, come on down."
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. We'll do more on this. Yeah, I absolutely agree. For anybody that looks into this, the first name that pops up is Ray Epps. Nobody looks at Brian Gamble. Nobody looks at Nick Fuentes. I'm now starting a dossier just on Brian Gamble. And listen, we have to say this, that let me ask you, Alicia has been used as a honeypot, has she not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And there have been some questions, there have been some rumors that there is infidelity in their marriage, and that, who knows, maybe they have a Will Smith open marriage type thing. Not a surprise. So.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thanks for.
All right, I'm gonna pop off here.
All right, pal.
But thank you guys for having me.
Love you, pal.
Soon, right?
Thanks for blowing up the show, man. Appreciate it. Very excited to have you stop by.
All right, see you guys.
Good seeing you again.
Take care.
Justin. Thanks, man.
All right, so much for any of the topics I had lined up. But again, fantastic show. So I'll take it anyway, and I will go around the horn and allow you guys that you were patiently waiting to close things up rather than me to touch anything. I need to get going anyway. So let's start with, I'll just go in clockwise fashion. Danny, anything to close up with, wrap up with?
No, just I've been working on some stuff about, because you had talked about the French Connection, and there was some talk about other like mafia stuff. So I'm actually been doing some research. John Panisi, who is a former mafioso, actually did. I was very shocked that he put something like this out. I don't know if he's doing a series on P2 and its connections to the mafia, but he actually put something out on the mainstream for everybody to see. So I mentioned to him, hey, please mention the Jesuits. But I was doing some of my own research on that, so it's a little long, so it's not going to have time to get into it now. But I definitely found some really cool stuff connected to that.
All right, pal. You know that P2 is responsible for giving the orange phallus his presidential model wife, right? The New York Times. Yep. Oh, yeah. The New York Times itself shows up. I'll pull it up. The New York Times itself mentions how some guy in P2, Propaganda Due, is the one that connected, what's her name? The Eastern European Catholic presidential model. What the hell's her name again?
Ivanka Trump?
No. The wife. Not the daughter.
Oh, I don't. Wow.
Ivana.
No.
Ivana. No.
Ivanka.
No. Give it again.
Ivanka.
Oh fuck! Are you kidding me, dude? That's his daughter.
Okay, Ivana. Okay, Ivana is the wife. Ivanka is the daughter.
Melania. Fuck's sake.
Melania. There we go.
Oh, the current wife, not the one who went down the stair, had the
not the one that had the accident.
Not the one that's buried at the golf course?
Right. Fell down the stairs into a hole in the golf course. Yes. Right. No.
Wait, so Trump's wife, Trump had a wife who got killed in falling down the stairs, and then
I think that's Ivana, isn't it? Isn't that what happened to Ivana? Ivana fell down the stairs and he buried her at a golf course.
Yeah.
Some weirdness. Yeah.
Right.
He also, on a golf course, there's a plaque on one of the holes. It talks about some strange history.
Right. And they drink bourbon and light cigars as they read the plaque. Yeah, that's now. I don't mind that when I ask for his wife, you say Ivanka, but we have to be clear. That is his mistress, who happens to be his daughter. Okay, I'm not talking about who they claim as his current wife, Melanoma or whatever the fuck her name is.
Melanoma.
Okay. All right. I'm looking forward to that report when you're ready, Danny. We'll get that going.
Absolutely.
All right, Mr. Alex.
Okay, before I finish off, I just want to let your listeners know what we know today as democracy was pretty much created by the Jesuits.
Yes, as a psyop, to punk you into thinking that you are participating in your own tyranny. Absolutely. Well done, Mr. Alex. Great references on that. I will archive those. I may not have the opportunity to put them in the show chat, but thanks, pal. Great work. Fat Bob loves Jess and Leslie, so do we. Fat Bob thinks melanoma is funny. Okay. All right. Let me go to Jesus Saved Darnell.
All right. I just want to throw out something I noticed real quick. The attack in Russia on 322 at a concert hall, there was a post of a video from the movie Tenet, one of the last movie-type movies that I saw. And they had a scene with a attack in a concert hall by terrorists, very similar. And if you remember, and I know last Friday, once you said it, Johnny, it kind of stuck with me. It was like, oh, that's Genesis 3:22, talking about God, talking about man having eaten the forbidden fruit, and if he were allowed to reach out his hand and get the tree of life, he'd eat it and live forever. And we got Skull and Bones and this attack lining up on 322 that was kind of predictively programmed in Tenet.
You know what? This yeah. How about that's the opening of the film. How about as it is the opera house in Ukraine in Kiev as well?
And no. It's Kiev.
No.
All of the
Sorry.
cockatoos in unison changed their pronunciation to Kiev.
Oh, Canada, Western Canada, it's Kiev. Anyway, but the fact that you have this scene, and as you have Denzel Washington Jr., David Washington. I even did a video on this, breaking this down as well. There's a symbolic G for Jesu. As they're running into the opera house, there is there's so much going on. But the fact, which is a great point, because remember, Tenet, when was it released? 26 August 2020.
2020. Yeah.
And this was what the last. I saw this film in theater. I saw this film in theater, and I can't remember if the theater was empty. I can't remember if we had to giving information, but there was a period of time where theaters were closed to everybody, and then there was passport only, entrance only, and the release of this film, the timing. But no, there's obviously the programming definitely there. So,
yeah. I've got.
By the way, that is a Chris. I don't know that I've never. Pardon me. I may not have even seen that. Written and directed by Jesuit Nolan.
Yeah, I'd recommend seeing Tenet, because it's one of those movies that is kind of weird, but you can tell it's a predictive program type of movie that's setting up some stuff.
Look at that. John David Washington, Robert Batman Pattinson, Michael Caine, Kenneth Branagh. Interesting.
No, it's fascinating. I've got some at some point. I'll either do another Hawkeye vid. I got some thoughts on it, but I'm going to try and find what it's going back almost 2 years ago. I did a video on this anyway. I'll put the link in the.
Okay.
Back with my old mic. So as Doc Felipe made a joke, it's ASMR with Hawkeye.
Well done.
I wanted to throw in chat. I don't know if you guys heard, but the federal government recently, well, it just came out in the news recently that the federal government had Google, or asked Google, to unmask certain YouTube users who watch certain videos. This was all around some Bitcoin shenanigans, but still, and I'll put it in the Odyssey chat here, but still, it's this matter of the federal government wanting a list from YouTube of people who watch certain videos. And we know how far that can go.
All right. All that is telegraphing what has been going on for fucking years. They're just gradually putting it out public now. It's all the same entity. YouTube and Google and the CIA and the Jets, it's all the same. They've been doing that for they share shit illegally for years. They now want you to get used to the concept. And so now they're leaking it out in dribs and drabs, just like Hawkeye putting fucking soldiers in the subway. And 15 years ago with the stop and frisk fucking outrage that they got away with then. Just taking it up a notch, okay? Oh, they just cloned a sheep. Meanwhile, your fucking guy that delivers your Amazon is a fucking clone. Okay? They're just breaking it to you and training you to accept it. Anything else, Darnell?
One last thing. I don't know how many of you may remember when Eric Schmidt from Google said that your search engine giving you multiple results is a flaw. It should give you one answer and one answer only based on you and it knowing you and everything about you. Well, Google's moved one step forward with that, where they are giving people AI answers. It's kind of like a pilot that they're giving on some people. They're giving AI answers without them opting in. It's just, they're just changing some people over to it. And I'm also putting in the chat a article that I was reading, I think it was Barron's or somewhere, where one of the heads of Salesforce.com was saying that chatbots may replace the search box. Basically, as they move to this whole AI search thing, it's going to be them giving you the answer they want you to have while acting like it's the answer that you wanted all along.
Right. It's done. By the way, my beloved William, this is a good one. I don't know. I may use this. The FBI interrogation of witnesses in the movie JFK, where the witness says, yeah, I heard 3 shots and it was someone, and the fucking FBI piece of shit says, no, you didn't. You heard 2 shots from up there. Who the fuck are you? I was the fucking, are you taking my testimony? You're giving me my testimony. Very well done by that fucking cuck, Oliver Stone, who taught in a Catholic school in Vietnam before he came back as a soldier in Vietnam. Mm-hmm. Fucking cuck that he is. All right.
Oh, sorry. Oh,
go ahead,
sorry,
Alex.
Johnny,
go ahead.
I need to say goodbye because I'm going to have breakfast. I'll see you on the.
Love you, pal. Well
table.
done. Thank you for interrupting to say goodnight. That's a good Italian goodnight and not a shit heel Irish goodnight. Well done, pal. Thanks for all your hard work.
Thank you, Alex.
Take care, pal.
Yeah.
Take care, Alex.
All right, George, you're up.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? I didn't really get to any of the topics I wanted to bring up, but
I'll tell you what. Start with one. Pick your number one topic that you were going to bring up, and do that now. And we'll see how much time we have. I'm overdue. I need to close down. At least pick your top topic that you were going to do today.
Okay. Well, all right. I'm going to have to shift. So, all right. I know we were talking about this earlier, and we've talked about this in the past about measles. Stepan Lonka, I guess, filed a lawsuit saying, and he claimed that there's no such thing as a measles virus. He said he'd offer was it €250,000,000 to anybody who could prove that the measles virus existed. And well, nobody could take him up on his offer. Now, allegedly, back in the 1950s, John Andrews, who was Scroll Key, said he was able to isolate and purify the virus that's supposed to cause condition, even though I believe that was about 70 years ago, even though nobody else has been able to replicate Indra's results. So in other words, he said the virus that causes measles exists because Indra says it exists. Just like we're supposed to be told that the coronavirus exists because the experts say it exists, or HIV exists, or whatever. So, I just wondering, is the condition we're calling measles, is that a deficiency, or is it malnutrition? Is it being poisoned? I'm opening this up to the floor.
All right.
Measles is
go ahead, Darnell.
Measles, let me check my notes. I think that's a vitamin A deficiency. I've got some notes on these common illness quackery things that they try and call viruses, but I need a sec to pull my notes up. So,
all right, what is key is, number one, having leeway, having something so broadly defined as is syphilis, for instance, so broadly defined that you can call anything and everything syphilis. Measles is, go ahead.
Great mimic.
Yeah, measles is definitely, from all the research I've done, a vitamin A deficiency issue. Totally. I rest on that from all my research. Measles
okay, so measles is marked by the symptoms of fever, cough. This is by Vatipedia. How do you know you have measles? Fever, cough, runny nose, inflamed eyes, rash. Oh, and a test. You have to have a test, right? They're going to test you and say, oh, you got the measles. Are you fucking kidding me with these fucking... Do you see? George, that's your first right there. That's your first rojo shoptowel. The fucking broadness of the symptoms. Thank you, William. That's an actual red flag. The broadness of the symptoms. You can call whatever the fuck you want. Remember, a rash. So they picked the most ridiculous, frightening looking picture of a child with a really bad rash. Now, what is a rash, George?
Well, it's basically an irritation of your skin. It is basically an outbreak. It is basically inside of you, something inside, forget my layman terminology, it's basically something inside of your body that it doesn't want. It's expressing itself on the epidermal level.
Hang on a second.
Yeah, and as far as the rash, I mean, they use words like eczema, which is just really Latin for red, itchy skin, you know. Playing word games.
Hang on. George, I did not expect George to nail that so well. Padre Pio is absolutely astounded. Extremely well done, George. That's absolutely right. Many times, maybe even often, more often than not, that type of skin expression is your body trying desperately through unconventional means to expel a toxin that it was unable to expel through normal processes. Either filter out by liver and kidney and then excrete out, or to express out through the sweat glands. Out of desperation, the body will now create lesions in the skin to get rid of the toxins, very often caused by injections years before. And perhaps compounded by multiple injections afterwards. Toxins accrued across multiple injections. I'm very comfortable with that, even though I may not have the data to support that. I'm very comfortable with that. All right? You can start there. Go.
Okay, well, they say that, shingles is adult chickenpox, and they say the only way you can possibly get shingles is if you get a shot for shingle, or the only way you can get shingles is if you get the shot for chickenpox.
No, it's shingles. Both shingles and chickenpox are a deficiency, and no disrespect to Shannon Rowan and all the vitamin controversy, but it's a deficiency in vitamin C. If you keep your vitamin C levels high, you're not going to have those problems because your body's going to be able to better.
Well, it's not a matter. Yeah, it's not a matter of disrespect to Shannon. Shannon's not saying that. Shannon's saying that there's confusion, purposeful confusion, in relation to the isolation of nutrients, and I agree with her. There's a lot of bullshit and fuckery in relation to the isolation of nutrients. So the nutrient that Darnell is saying should be countering these deficiencies. Now, whether or not there are pharmaceutical companies that are able to isolate and name this nutrient as vitamin C, that's a different controversy. But there is a nutrient. So shingles and chickenpox, Darnell feels, are nutrient deficiencies.
Yes.
Okay.
And you have the same way women get in sync on their period is how you might have multiple kids get chickenpox at the same time. But I got chickenpox as an adult, and I wasn't around anybody with chickenpox, but I was eating a crap college diet. So.
Okay. Yeah. Plausible. Very plausible. All right, William.
Oh yes. I'm not going to belabor a lot of things. I'm getting a lot of comments on my video on the Sabbath and the days of the calendar and stuff like that. And some of the comments, you could tell that they go off the title of the video and not actually watch the video, which is really, really.
You know what?
stupid.
I get that all the time, pal. And I would say that if you only respond to someone that does that if you are forced to, if you're able to simply.
Well, that's what I tell them. I said, apparently you're going by the title of the video and didn't actually watch the video.
So listen, I would simply put it,
Because
couch it in those terms. Hey, listen, I appreciate your input. Now go ahead and watch the documentary and then give it to me again.
Yeah. Yeah. Because everything he mentions, I cover it in the video.
Right.
But you could tell by the way he words it that he didn't even watch.
Right. Hey, just you call him out. Go ahead. Call him out.
Right.
Call him out.
You just want me to show my red flag.
Right. Right.
But I just, like I mentioned earlier, I've been working on chapter 8 of Illuminati en masse, running into a lot of snags, and I hope I hope that we don't lose the Wayback Machine, but it's already creating problems, even trying to find stuff on the Wayback Machine, especially about Alexander Haig. Those two citations, they wiped him off the internet. And so it takes a lot of work, a lot of digging, guys. They're more and more, this is what I keep telling people, more and more they're trying to erase the truth in history, more and more, and they're getting more clever by every day. And I think part of the problem is this so-called AI stuff. This, it's just,
I'll tell you, pal,
disaster.
I have been deeply disturbed. I have been enraged. I know that sounds crazy. I have been enraged because I have noticed that previous to now, if I knew what to look for, I would find it. Now I know what to look for and I still can't find it. And to me, that was, it's time. It's time for full on chaos and civil war. It's bad enough to not have it made readily available. It's bad enough that you're not going to stumble on the truth. But when you know what the truth is and you look for it, and now it's even that has been erased, it's on. It's time. It's time.
It is. It's a way overdue.
Yeah, I think somebody or a couple of people have made video documentaries about how when you search on search engines now, you get less results than you used to get.
Right.
And you get mostly ads. Yeah. And you get mostly sponsored web results. Now it's like 20 sponsors before you get web results. It's ridiculous.
And they intentionally put stuff at the top. I know even for stuff like if you Google stuff about the flat earth, they'll immediately put globe stuff. People will pay to have globe stuff put right at the top just to keep you from seeing anything else.
Absolutely. And paywalled shit gets top billing. Yeah. Paywalled shit gets top billing. Shit that I'll tell you, between YesUtube and TwitterX with the propaganda banners. I'm too stupid. You got to tell me what Freemasonry is. I'm too stupid. You have to tell me what flat earth is all about. I'm too stupid. You're going to give me a fucking banner of propaganda. Why? Yeah. Because you love me? Because you don't want any bad thing to come to me? You're going to jump in front? Wait. Let me tell you first what's really going on here. Are you fucking kidding me?
You know what's also interesting on the Wayback Machine is that I try to go back to the original, when it's first put on the Wayback Machine, and especially when it's like the Boston Globe and the New York Times and Los Angeles Times, even now, when you go back on the Wayback Machine, when it was first put in there, they still try to get you. They still try to paywall it now. I noticed that today a couple of times. I'm going, dude, I'm going back in time, before they put, and somehow they managed.
Fat Bob is noted. And by the way, Fat Bob, I promise you, please be patient with me. Love you, and I appreciate that you have shared personal details in an email. I promise you, please be patient. As you can tell, I am fucking okay. Let me share screens here. I'll just tell you, I can't. I've got like 20 tabs open in 2 separate fucking browsers just from the show today. Okay? Mm-hmm. I promise you, be patient. I will get to your personal email. Bob says, absolutely. Archive is not what it is. Let me assure you, Archive has been taken over for that purpose. Archive has been taken over because it's too dangerous as a source of information. It has been taken over. Absolutely. Paywalled, absolutely. Archive, that now, like, the majority of the texts available on Archive are now just for rent. The majority. Whereas they used to be, the majority were especially older texts.
Yeah.
Even stuff that is well out of patent and or copyright, even stuff that is public material is still gobbled up and closed down.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's on the text side.
It's all money. It's all money because too many people have taken advantage of the free downloads, and now they're saying
that's a big part of it. But that's a secondary part of it.
Yeah.
The greed is a secondary part. The desire to blind people, that's the primary part.
Right.
Same
absolutely.
thing with.
But they use the making you pay as an excuse.
It's a paywall. It's a paywall. Okay. It stops people from getting ready access to information. Just like on the photograph side with the fucks Getty and Alamy and Shutterstock and all those fucks that gobble up and watermark and copyright shit that they lithographs from hundreds of years ago. Are you fucking kidding me? Long since public material. Long since public material.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, is that I'm hoping that Odyssey doesn't get wise to it, because Odyssey is the only channel where you can download any
That's
video
why the FTC sued and crushed Odyssey, because they would dare to have their own currency. The banksters used the fucking government and crushed it, and it is no longer an open source. And for whatever amount of time, once this goes south, I'm done. This is my primary outlet right now.
That's why we tell our flying monkeys and I've made videos and everything. Once you look up a source, archive it immediately. It's easy. It's simple by copy and pasting, even if you have to use a source to, as far as videos are concerned, use OBS, use whatever function that you can to archive this stuff, because it's going to make it harder and harder to get.
I have not taken up my friend Ole Damagard on his offer of, when you make a contribution, he sends you a hard drive. It sounds like an amazing. I really need to take him up on it. Although I just don't know. Doesn't he say that the hard drive is filled with this type of information regarding false flags? Yeah. I don't know that anybody has done that, but that just sounds like an absolute must.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, George. I need to close down, George, quickly.
Okay.
All right, Danny. Love you, pal. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you again soon.
Thanks for all you do, pal. Appreciate you.
Always a pleasure.
Okay, this is my last comment of the day. Okay, so for years, there has been a war on printed books. It is getting harder and harder for people to get books. For the brick and mortar bookshops have basically disappeared. So there are a few other avenues where people can go get those: libraries, secondhand stores, or thrift stores, and online. Well, Amazon is basically the gatekeeper to printed books. They want you as much as possible to read things online. They want a Kindle version. And what did we see during the Corona hoax? They said, "Oh, you can't go to a library. You can't go to a thrift store because it's dangerous. You'll catch the Corona hoax or spread the Corona hoax." So for a long time, the only way people could read a thing, well, I mean, 4 or 5 years ago, the only way people, or 3 or 4 years ago, the only way people could read things is online or if they had the books already. So if you're at a thrift store, if you're at a yard sale, buy as many books as you possibly can. Forgive me for offering unsolicited advice.
Yeah, and as we know, not just the books being hard to find, but if they do sell them, sometimes they cost like hundreds or $1,000+ for a book.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, how big is Rulers of Evil by F. Topher Saucy? I mean, it's only what, 300 or 400 pages, and they want over $100 for it. That's if it's available.
More than that.
Yeah, let me see if I get.
I've seen books. Even Kathy O'Brien's book cost me $50 or more just to get a copy of her book because it's out of print too. Yeah, I just wish we had a chance. I wish somebody. I know some people years ago that had their own book printing press. It's a small press, and what they did was they got a lot of these books that are out of print and started printing these books up. And because some people could go down, I had a friend of mine who had but the guy's retired now. He had a printer here in town that would print all these old, out of date, out of print books where there was no copyright on them, and he would make thousands of copies of them, of the books.
Hardcover copy, Rulers of Evil. You can get it starting at $599.99.
There you go.
Not $600. $599.99. All right, guys.
Billy Graham and His Friends is unavailable on Amazon.
Billy Graham and His Friends unavailable. Not surprising. Not a surprise. That's real power. That's real power.
Yeah, Ministry of Truth, make it go away.
Make it go away.
Make it go away. How about I've got, so what's some a lot of my video essays may seem like random ADD. It's been an exercise for me with my memory because it seems that I'm forgetting things. But I think Ayrton Senna was a subject had come up a couple times over the last so many briefs ago. But that documentary film, I believe it was 2011, was, I don't know if it was the first documentary film, but certainly a profound one because the entire film, let's say it's 2 hours running time, more or less, but it's entirely of found footage. So after his death, so you have all this collected footage and an entire narrative arc was created, which the film that you've seen. And so I know for me and from the memory of the films, everything that I've seen, and the fact that you could scene can be stitched to scene, can be stitched to scene. It's like the same story told and it's all the same story. Back to the hero's journey, which I believe has its source in Genesis 5, and that for those 10 the 10 names and the meaning of those 10 names. And recently, we had an incident. So speaking of AI, like referencing Blade Runner's 2049.
All right, you're too fast. Stop. You're running too fast. Okay.
All right.
You know what you're saying.
Yes,
I think I'm following you. As a quick aside, the genealogy in Genesis chapter 5 is an incredibly powerful gospel message that you can only decode if you know the meanings of the names in the genealogy. And so the hawk, being the hawk, explains that as the ultimate hero's journey. which is
the profound this idea of like the Batman. How many times did he say it in The Dark Knight about playing with his cards close to the chest, Bruce Wayne? The fact that in it, the message from those 10 names, and crediting Chuck Missler, is what's the word? Polarizing as he is, I got to credit him for something as simple. Anybody can go look it up. You just again look up the meaning, just like Jesus's name, the letters, the Hebrew letters. You look up and I did the video on in part that laying out what would come after it, but the fact that you have a message within the name. So the name yes, names have meanings, but then of course breaking down their names to it's just something. It's so it's beautiful. It's profound. It's violent. There's our Savior. Anyway, what I wanted to where do I want to go with this? How about I'll just leave it at that for now. Unless I drop the ball and yeah.
Oh boy, yeah.
So there you have the so handwork a deed, window, low behold, hook or nail, eat, consumes, destroys, I see an experience, which is why in part for me this in cinema. And then, of course, and I think instead of just two witnesses, I applied three different films as essentially as witnesses that you have this elevation of the, as I've presented before, it's the elevation through cinema, the office of the Jesuit Superior General, the Black Pope, but you're seeing slivers of Jesus of Nazareth, and then of course Genesis 3:15.
Well, that's how they get their legitimacy. That's how they get their staying power.
Absolutely, but then also too the fact that you have this world, this system that survives the flood, which Yahweh comes up against many times in the Old Testament. You have it occur with of the tribe of Dan.
The Catholic Church, Hawk, not to step on you. The Catholic Church would have none of its power. The Jesuits would have none of their power.
Exactly.
If they don't mimic Christ and Christendom. And
thus the antithesis of it's a play on, like, the ultimate superior general is Jesus of Nazareth. You think of the chess match that he knows and sees. And then you have this being again, whatever has been traded. Like again, you have the Black Pope. Whether we can't even imagine it. Only it's been probably presented in horror films. The kind of power, the dark power that he wields, obviously, yes, is nothing compared to the one who's the resurrection and the life, Jesus of Nazareth. It's beautiful. And then the fact that you have this character in this realm that is connected, like the bridge, the Pontifex, to the dark world, and and then what comes through in cinema and how this office is elevated, but even through that, you're witnessing Genesis. So the stomp of the serpent head, so the prophesied seed of woman in Genesis 3:15 crushing the serpent's head. But then also, as I've referenced Luke 24, you have the eating. There's something about this, the only explicit food that Jesus ever eats in any of the Gospels, and it's in Luke 24, broiled fish. In some translations, it's broiled fish and honeycomb. And there's a purpose for this. And my video essay, like that one you were just in part was expressing that, because where you have the stomping, then you have the eating, and it showed up in multiple films. It's like it's too many times for it to be a coincidence. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, and all the more so that in their own condemnation, that they should have such powerful insight of the truth and of Christ. Maybe they are in part deluded and are able to live the lie that they are served, because they do serve him, just like on the Snowpiercer. Just like on the Snowpiercer. They're the bad guys,
The role is laid out. Look, Daniel 11, the king of the north, and look at the players at the same table. It's the system's clearly laid out in the scriptures, and so we can clearly identify. There's no guessing. Which, of course, you have the subterfuge of preterism, Jesuit preterism, and futurism. Which, again, Zionism. What's going on today? The distraction. It's all intentional, and how many people, so-called Christians, are and.
Well,
pick your denomination.
Just because Yahweh brilliantly manipulates who and what they are, and just because Yahweh uses them brilliantly, manipulating them, that's not a relationship. That's not a saving relationship. That's not going to work come judgment time. Just because you're able to lie to yourself and look back at the damage and harm that you've done and see how he used it, that's not going to count anything for you. You need to, there is no work in the dark to serve the light. You need to step into the light. All right.
Let's just revisit just Jesus' name. Behold the nailed hand. It's just putting together the meanings of the letters.
Absolutely.
Behold the nailed hand that eats, consumes, destroys, the eye, the see, the experience.
By the way, I have a take on this. I'm going to, when I read your breakdown that destroys the eye, the see, the experience, that to me is a condemnation of the allure of this world. Here's what you can experience. Here's the temptation to experience. And it's the nailed hand that puts an end to it. Anyway, I really have to go. So
thank you so much. Thank you each of you for what you do.
Yeah, love you guys. Love you guys.
Yeah. Thank you, Clint.
Bill, if you're able to put together a thumbnail, Jesus Saved Darnell, if you're able to do any bullet points for me, I'll wait for you to name it.
Got him coming.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Love you. Fantastic work. Much love to all of my beloved flying monkeys. Hopefully we converted a few sports fans. And hey, guys, have a blessed day. Have a blessed weekend. And we'll see what tomorrow brings. Maybe we'll do another show then. Take care.
All right, bye. Ciao, guys.